All right, we live. Just gonna make sure I can hear myself with the headphones. Wait for the. Yep, there we go. I can hear myself. All right. What's up, League? Fixes your matches. What's up? I don't know what that means, but go for it. League fixes your matches. Go for it. Yeah, so yesterday was a busy day. Today was a break again. So yesterday I was talking with, I'm talking to this woman at the school I'm working at. And she was actually pretty cool. She, because she was telling me how, because she's a Czech woman and she's older, but she speaks fluent English. Has an accent, but she's fluent English. And she was telling me how she has 3 kids and she's married to an Australian man. And you know, one of her kids is like 11. And because she had him when she was a bit older, she said, you know, we were just talking about, you know, life. So she told me her life story about how she left how she left Czech Republic at first. And it's funny how tides change of like who's liked and who's not liked for what reason, blah blah blah. It's funny how this stuff changes, because I'm gonna go into that off the story that she was telling me, because we were, you know, talking, sharing stories back and forth and talking. And so she said, well, she graduated high school in like '89, like right when communism kind of like ended here, and she went to the UK. But she said when she left like literally like right when Czech people were like allowed to actually leave the country. So there was no visa paperwork even like available for her at the time. Like you just couldn't even do it, because they had just essentially been like freed that fast. So she said she went out to the UK and worked like illegally as a cleaner, and like, you know, like in America, you know, in America we have like the illegal Mexicans working as cleaners. Well, here, like, that's what the Czechs were, you know, to the UK. She went to, I think, was it England or something like that. She went out there to work as an illegal immigrant. She said everybody there was working illegally that was a cleaner. And she told me the story about how, like, randomly one day somebody just yelled immigration, and she like ran and hid under a fucking table, like to hide from. And she said somebody came in the room looking for anybody in there, and they just left. So she escaped. She didn't get deported, because we were talking about getting deported. But here's the part that I always talk about, and it's always just me on YouTube. But when I'm in the world and I'm talking to people, like all the topics and issues I talk about on here, like these motherfuckers will go on about it like in everyday life if you're here, especially the Czechs who have moved out. I've always said this. It's always the people who have actually left their home are the ones who can now like make fun of it, right? And not take it too personal and all that. Usually the ones who independently left on their own and then came back, those are usually the ones who they'll go on more about than I will. I won't even talk that much about it. But here's the funny part: how times change. She was saying that when she met her husband, her now husband, her Czech friends had never seen him. So they all, and this is exactly what she tells me. She goes, they all assumed he was black. And I said, no. She said, yeah. I said, no, they assumed he was black because a white Westerner would never date a Czech woman. And she just starts laughing like, yep, that's what it was. And so it's weird how times change, because now like the white woman is okay essentially wherever she goes. But back then, it seemed like it was still like, you know, the white, even the Czechs were seen as the black people around here in Europe. But she literally, we were sitting right across from each other talking, and she told me that her own friends assumed that her Australian husband was a black. They immediately just all thought he was a black guy because no white male from the Western countries would ever date an Eastern European girl. And here's the other part. You know how I say a lot of Czechs like they call Czech Republic Central Europe? No, like motherfuckers who know, like the Czech Republic's Eastern Europe. All right, now it's not like struggling Eastern Europe, but in the world sense, people will just always call it Eastern Europe unless they're trying to like run away from sounding like they're like poor Eastern Europe, right? But she's a real cool woman. We were talking about just life, man, and like just like the brutal realities of like race and and education and shit like that. Great time. I was only supposed to be there for like maybe 15 minutes max, and we ended up talking for like 2 hours about life, about just life. But yeah, she was cool. What are you teaching? English. But here's the thing. Teaching English as a second language, like if you teach English, you're going to be teaching it as a second language, right? Because, okay, here's the weird part about English outside of like Western countries that like, I would say for the most part outside of like the UK, America, Canada, Australia, for most countries, for the majority of countries outside of these countries, when they learn English, a lot of times they're going to learn English from somebody whose first language is not English, right? So like they'll learn English and pronunciations and shit like completely either just ridiculously wrong or ass backwards or something like that. Because I was watching one video of a British woman. She was trying to explain the differences between the American accent and the British accent and I think and the Aussie accent. And she couldn't even do the American accent right. But she's walking around teaching people this is the American accent, how to say shit. Because here's the weird part with the American accent. I'm not gonna say all UK people like this, but like it's hard for them to say "are" how we say it, like where, there. Unless they really hone in on like practicing it, like it's hard for them to do that. And I got to hear the British accent, but let me play a clip of the British accent and then I'll imitate it. British. Well, it depends on which accent. But once I hear it, I can mimic it. But I can't if I can't hear it, I'll just do it horrifically. Now watch, I still fuck it up. Let's see. Let me find one that's not going to get me copyrighted again, because I got so many copyrights on my YouTube. I just don't feel like going through them all. Let's do this one. This is like a smaller channel.
Where does the sexiest sounding British accent come from? Sound, particularly in hello. I would say oh.
I would say oh. I'm a Londoner, and I would say oh. What time is it, darling? What time is it, darling? So I would say oh if I were to talk like this. See, I get it mixed up with the posh and then like the more streets. I can't keep it like one. I have to hear it. Then I could talk like this all day. I could walk down the street and talk like this, and people would genuinely believe I was from British or something. Now I'm getting too poshy. I gotta hear it like straight normal. Then I could like, because I remember when my dad flew here, it was me and my spouse. It was we were all walking down the street. Well, you don't know this. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. We were walking, like just walking down the street, and I heard somebody with an Irish accent. So like for the rest of the time, I just kept talking really loud with an Irish accent, right? Because it's got to be weird to see a black dude talk with an Irish accent. So I walked down the street. I got to hear it again, but well, and not like just any Irish accent, but like that Pierce Brosnan Irish accent, like of course, yes. I gotta hear it now. Now I'm fucked up because I just heard the UK shit, like that British UK shit. But like the Irish accent, for God's sakes, I don't know where in God's sakes we're going today. I don't know where we are. That's like a mixture of like Scottish. I gotta hear it, but like, so like, well, I don't know. Maybe if we go down this street and turn right here, maybe we can find a place. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? Now I'm like mixing it with like a bit of Australian and a bit of like just some bullshit. But I talked like that like the whole time we were out. Just walking down the street. I see this. It's skipping the videos. Irish. I can speak the Irish accent sometimes, but I have to hear the actual accent before I can keep going for days and days and days. You see, I'm just making up bullshit now. But let me try the British accent again. Let me try this shit. I gotta hear him.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Well, it's more of an
Let me get another one. Let's play now. If I were to do something with Idris Elba, it's gonna be something with 1 million views. Bottle of water. No, get an actual British person. Don't do that whole shit. Hi, I'm American. I'll teach you how to speak with a British accent. And to be fucking it up. Get me a British person to fucking just talk. And then I can mimic it. This should be alright.
Did you know in British English, some dialects don't pronounce H's at the beginning of a word? So a word like holiday would become holiday. A word like whole would become old.
Because now he's doing that he's doing that shit that I always talk about with the YouTubers talking in that certain fucking cadence that I fucking hate. You know what I mean? Like, anything, then it ain't. Like, they're all talking like newscasters now. So like now it's like the newscaster mixed in with British accent.
It also affects the article
before it.
So a holiday becomes an holiday.
Yeah, he's doing that newscaster mixed in with the British accent shit. Cockney. Scottish. I gotta hear it. Again, if I hear it, I can keep it going like for fucking hours. But I gotta hear it. I gotta hear like a good. I'm like a fucking AI. Like I have to hear like the different inflections, and once I get that certain sense of I don't even know if inflection is the right word, but as soon as I get it and it registers, then I could just like keep it going for fucking hours. But so me and my spouse, we would hang out, and I would just start doing it for like hours. I would just talk like it, right? She get annoyed, of course, because she knows my accent, because I have an American accent, obviously. But she would go like, for God's sakes, you just pass it on dinner plate. I'm getting a bit famished. I can't do it now, but yeah. Idris Elba surprised me with his American roles because I didn't know dude was Brit at first. Yeah. I remember when I first seen him in The Office. I don't think he was even a name yet when he was in he wasn't like a name when he was in, because I always loved Michael Scott, and when he came onto The Office, he was just hateable. Like you had to hate him because like you just had to hate him in The Office because Michael Scott was just Michael Scott. It was his show, it was Michael Scott and Friends essentially, what The Office was. But I remember when Idris Elba came on there, and I'm pretty sure he did his American accent there. I can't remember the first role I seen him in where he was like, where he just full on let his English side out, like in media format kind of thing. I don't remember the first time I heard it, but yeah. But yeah, I got to hear it. If I hear it, then I can just go off with it. Because the Aussies, they go, well, okay, not all Australians don't do it, which I just found out. I thought all Australians had the accent, but all of them don't. A lot of them talk just like me, just like Americans. But but when they do have the accent, it's like two different accents. One is damn near that fucking what's the dude who died, who was the animal guy? It was like it's his, and then it's just I don't know. They put R's where R is not supposed to be, and they take out R's where R actually goes. Like sometimes they put the R in where the R is, but they'll put R's where R's don't go. Like a word that's no, then no. I don't know. Where's the water? I don't know. I don't know, dear. Takers, he lets his accent out. Okay. What's up, Grave Rave? What's up, Jen? Crikey. The only reason I can remember, for God's sakes, with my like thick, with that Pierce Brosnan Irish accent, almost that Pierce Brosnan, is because I said it so many times with my spouse when I be playing with her. So I could always remember how that's my home base to get the Irish accent popping out. I just remember that, and for some reason I could just remember like the way my tongue was like formed in the first syllables. For God's sakes. For God's sakes. For God's sakes, can you please just turn down the TV? I'm trying to watch TV. What are you doing? For God's sakes. I don't even know where I got for God's sakes from. I really don't even know. I just kind of made it up. But yeah, me and that woman I was talking about earlier, we were talking because she was saying how she when she would go to Australia with her husband, she was just like, she said when she would go there, like they would be like, she didn't really say it, but she was saying like they was pretty much treating her like, like a poor African or like a poor Middle East person, like the stereotype of like, oh, like you have to take on, like they would just make it clear like she would have to like adopt their culture. You know what I mean? Because see, back then, well, even now, white doesn't mean okay. Like, it doesn't automatically mean you're okay. But back then, I think Eastern Europe was definitely seen as a because history, the Europe's history of being volatile was still, pretty much in effect in these years that she was talking about when she was grown and was traveling. So they probably did see her as like the stereotypical like war-torn Africa shit like that stereotype. So she was like, yeah, people would talk to her like she should be happy to be there. Like she should like it was a privilege for her to be in Australia kind of thing. That type of shit. And I mean, we were just talking like completely blunt about it, like completely honest. She was like completely, there. So we understood what it was like to be a legal immigrant somewhere. Like, but one thing I did bring up was how when she was illegal versus when I was illegal, like when I was illegal, like I ain't have any problem. Well, mostly because it was their fault anyway. But even so, like as an American, when I become illegal, like I'm still an American, right? Now, granted, they have to see my passport or hear my accent, my English before they'll respect me a little better. But once they see or hear one of the two, then it's like, okay, yeah, just leave whenever you feel like it. Go home, eat shrimp, and leave whenever you feel like it. Whereas if you come from a poor country, you might fuck around and go, be locked up somewhere for at least a couple days. This is how it is. Because, like, it's how the world's going to see. If you come from a poor country, they're going to look at you like, oh, you trying to stay in here to get more, benefits, whatever. So we don't want you to have it. We want you to go back and suffer in your own country kind of thing, right? It's fucked up, but that's how the world is. And I felt bad for her that she said that she had to go hide under a table when somebody screamed immigration. She wouldn't hid under a table. I thought that was fucked up. She's a white woman. She's Czech, white woman. But I thought it was, yeah. But at the point where she said that even her, because her friends had never met her husband, and they all assumed that he had to have been black because he must have been black because no white Westerner would ever date an Eastern, her words, an Eastern European woman. And I never did get on that other because I wanted to bring up how times have changed. Like nowadays, like if you're just a skinny, attractive white woman, you're always welcome. It's crazy how the things and times have changed, right? For whatever reason. But people forget, man. Like people forget, like the West, like Europeans. This whole like love for Europe is pretty new. Like Europe was, even in North America's history, North Americans really did not like Europeans at all, especially like the richer they would get. It's documented in American history. Like Europeans were seen as less than human to Americans, especially in them slave years. This is when slavery was really popping off. Like them rich Americans, they thought Europeans were like a half step above the Africans. Like they were down, right? Then I don't think people either forget or they just don't know. This whole love for Europe came about pretty much after American media dominated and American movies got shown everywhere to just show white people as being right. And I think that, like I always say, I think that's what helped Europe, at least raise up out of that, from the world's perspective. When you start showing every movie you see is going to be a white man, and either the white man's going to save the world, or the white woman's going to be the prettiest woman that gets married to the richest, strongest white man. If that's literally 80% of media you ever see, that's just what's going to happen, right? And looking back with the woman I was talking to you, if she graduated in 1989, yeah, all that adds up to from where American media really started to dominate, really started to be shown in syndication around the world. That all that adds up to where how she would have that experience versus like if I take my spouse in North America and she says she's from Europe, oh, she's immediately from the land of the gods. Whereas like the woman I was speaking with, who I was talking to yesterday, when she left, she's like literally like a quarter step above a stereotypical dirty African, which you see in TV of like poverty-stricken villages and shit like that, right? It's funny. It's crazy how things, and who knows? 20 years from now, maybe America might fall, right? And people in my age bracket may be like, "Oh yeah, you from America," but then like the new kids, they come around and be like, "Ugh, them motherfuckers from America, that poor country." It's just fun. It's crazy how things change, how just perspectives, opinions. It's crazy how all these things change. Like now, so I'm going to be completely honest. Now with North America, I have no idea what's really going on in North America. I didn't know that it became at least somewhat comfortable to for white women to say, "Ew, I don't want to date you because you're white." Like, that's something I'm completely ignorant to. But I've seen it happen. I've seen it in social media happen a few times. And I don't advocate that shit. I think, I regardless of whatever history did or happened or whatever, I still don't think that's cool. I don't think that's cool for a woman to look at a white guy and say, "I don't want to date you because you're white." I think that's just as fucked up. Right? Just like I never voted for Barack Obama, because the only reason I would have voted for Barack Obama was just because he was black. Right? And I couldn't live with myself doing that. So I never voted for him both times. And again, if there's any way to prove it, I'll happily prove it. If somebody needs the last four of my social or something like that, and is there some type of database where you can see who I voted for ever, I'd happily do it. I'm not hiding it at all. I never voted for Barack Obama both times because I would have only voted for him because he was black. Now, I was speaking with a white friend of mine here, and he said he had never heard anybody say something like that. But I will be now. Here's the thing about the Barack Obama situation, right? Because of the country's history and the country's past, I'm not gonna fault somebody who did vote for him just because he was black, right? I'm not gonna, because I can see the logic in it because of the history. Now let's say in North America's history, if the presidents had been split up between different, ethnicities, whatever the fuck, genders, whatever the fuck, right? If it had been a thorough mix and then somebody voted for Barack Obama just because he wasn't white, then I think that's a complete there's no good way out of that. But the fact that North America, if you look at the history's past of the country and the presidents, right? You combine both of those, then I see why I'm not going to be mad at somebody for doing that, right? I'm not going to do it, but I'm not going to be mad at somebody for doing it, right? It's that kind of thing. What's up? Thanks, Cosmic Variant. Drinking wine. I got a stomach ache already. I got this shit for $2 at the girl. It was on sale for $2, so I just said fuck it and bought it. And it's been in the refrigerator for about a couple weeks now. I said, I'm gonna do a live stream and drink some of this. And I already got a stomach ache. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy how just like perspectives and times and things change, and like what people know and what they just don't know, because it's just their time and when they grew up. Like, I mean, like, because I'm real big into video games, and I always share my honest opinion on everything, but especially video games. Like so right now I'm playing a game. I'm playing Dishonored for the first time. I never played it. I think I played it a long time ago when I was a kid, and I just sucked at it, and I still do suck at it. But I'm like I'm more than halfway through the first one, so because I just wanted to see if I can finally get it now. Well, what opened me up to even trying Dishonored was because I got really into Hitman. I randomly got I downloaded, I think, Hitman Contracts on an emulator on my MacBook just to try it out, right? Because I never played it. I said, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to try to see if I can, make some headway in it, right? Figure some shit out, right? And the first level had me hooked because you were in this this brutal hospital with blood on the walls. You had to find a way out. I'm like, what is this? Right? I'm playing this shit this is all right. But I couldn't figure out how to get out the hospital. So I ran around. I had to find disguises, and I dressed up as a police officer. And that's how I got out the hospital. And I got out. So after I played, I was like, oh, wow, there's so many different ways you could beat a mission. I could just run out, but I'll get shot all along the way. And, I may not make it. But I was like, oh, wow, there's so many ways I can, beat a level. So I played Contracts and I played Blood Money. But the Blood Money emulator was kind of fucked up. But then I went on to play World of Assassins, the modern one, and that game is still it's still janky because I think all stealth games they have to be janky in some way. There always going to be some jank to it, but World of Assassins is beautiful. I think this is just an amazing game. Again, stealth games automatically equal just severe jank at points, but it's still just that game just beat out every other stealth game. Because I played Splinter Cell before that. Because I was never good at Splinter Cell, so I made myself beat the first Splinter Cell, and I beat it. And what was beautiful? What was more beautiful about the first Splinter Cell? Because the physics didn't really age great in certain areas. But what was beautiful about the first Splinter Cell was that how they told the story and what the news told the people versus what you knew happened. They kept trying to push that there was American prisoners and you was trying to get them out. There was never American prisoners. It was Chinese prisoners. But it was beautiful how they told the story on the news versus what you would see as the actual spy, right? And it was just in this great tone, man. And that's one thing I miss about older video games was that they had their own, it wasn't this whole, capitalism woke bullshit. They were just hitting hard topics right off the bat. They weren't sugarcoating a lot of shit. It was it is what it is, bro. This is life. Bitches get human trafficked. Bitches get killed in attics. Just is what it is. The first Hitman Contracts, when you find that bitch mutilated in that butcher's room. Well, she wasn't mutilated, but her arm she was cut up in pieces. Games nowadays ain't gonna do that. But back then they can get away with that. So it's beautiful to play older games, man. But back to what I was talking about Dishonored. I got into Dishonored because I had played through the Hitman games and I was addicted to being able to go how to complete an area in multiple different ways. That's what got me hooked on that concept. Oh, I can do it I could have went this way, I could have went that way, I could have poisoned a drink, I could have stuffed a gun in a chicken and then snuck it through security. That's how you kill one dude at Hitman Contracts. You gotta stuff a gun in a silenced pistol in a chicken, and you gotta sneak through this goth club, and you go upstairs through security, and then you just walk in this room, and it's this fat dude with 3 bitches. And you tell the bitches to leave, and he's hungry. He'd be like, I want my food now. He's one of them fat bastard from Austin Powers type of dudes, right? And I didn't even close the blinds. I didn't even know you could close the blinds until I watched somebody else do it online. I just got right in the corner, And then like I dropped the chick and picked up the gun and shot him. And nobody seen it or heard. I just walked out, and that was it, right? That was the beauty in it, man. Like, because it's not this whole like, dramatic, huge conclusion. It's like, oh, that was it. I just did it. Oh, wait, okay, walk out. Just be cool. Walk out. Like, that was a beautiful part of Hitman. I love Hitman games because of that. Like, you can just do it in such a way. You could just walk out and the police will just run past you, not knowing what the fuck just happened. Right? And but as long as you just walk out and be cool and don't get too close to nobody, you can just walk the fuck out. Right? It is really its own thing for that. Like, I don't know if there's any other games. I after playing that game, I went and found this game called Death Despised, which is pretty much just the old Hitman's, but set in World War II, which makes it a lot harder because everybody's just prepared to kill you. Whereas Hitman, like, half the people are just regular civilians. They're not, ready to kill you like that. If you do, they're just gonna run away. But yeah. So after I played Hitman, I was like trying to look for games that had that same concept of like, you can do every part of every mission like 3 to 5 different ways. So it was either between Prey. I played Prey a long time ago and didn't like it because I just didn't get it yet. It was between Prey, Deus Ex. I played Deus Ex a long time ago and didn't get it yet, so I never made it past like the first level. And then Dishonored. And since my hard drive is pretty much full, I just went with the first Dishonored because that's the smallest game. And so that's what I'm playing now. And I mean, it's cool, but it's cool. The first Dishonored is cool. It's not bad. It's not. The reason why I don't really care for Dishonored, in case anybody cares, is because I'm not a fan of stealth with superpowers. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all these superpowers you can get, and I'm not a fan of stealth with superpowers. It's all video game bullshit, but this whole thing, like, you can just, you can possess people, possess animals, you can, like, dash, or what's the other thing? You could pause time. I mean, it's cool. You can have fun with it, but like I had more fun. Hitman was just is the best to me. Hitman is my shit because there was so many levels in Hitman that were just like epic. For like, so many parts of Hitman would just be epic, but not even intended to be epic, and that's what makes it more epic, right? Because there was one area where like I think this was Hitman 2 on PC and World of Assassins, where you're on this like in this military base, and it was not a military base. It's like this like, this compound with like militant motherfuckers, right? And for some reason, if you look at the reviews, everybody in the review says that's the worst map. I had the most fun on that map, right? Because you got to kill 4 different targets, and they're all spaced out. Well, on my playthrough, I got lucky, and I got 2 of the targets in one area. And during a safety training exercise, I was able to kill both of them at the same time by this, like, well, it wasn't safety. It was an exercise to, like, kill some famous people in a limousine or some shit like that. And I killed both of them at the same time like that. Well, there was a guy I had to kill. There was one man I had to kill. He would make rounds. And I just noticed, like, in this one area, like, it was maybe, like, a total, like, maybe 3 to 4 steps where nobody could see you. But so I figured, like, the only way I could even do it is if I just pulled out the silenced gun and just walk up behind him and just hit him with a and walk off. And that's what I did. And I did it and walked off, and everybody was panicking, looking for the killer, and I'm just walking away like nothing happened. But there's no, like, dramatic music. It's not like some, it's epic because you realize how epic it was. It's not like the game didn't tell you this was epic, right? Like, you just realize how epic the situation was. And that mission gets a lot of hate. I don't think I've ever seen a reviewer who said they liked the mission. I liked it. I think it was in like Kansas or something like that, Omaha or some shit. It's in America. This level's based in America, and everybody hates that mission. I had the most fun with it. To be honest, I had the most fun with it. But here's the thing: I don't go like when games have these multiple endings. I don't go back and play and look for all the endings. I just play it one time through, and whatever I found, that's just what I found. But I like the idea knowing I can go, different ways. You're in Zelda. Which Zelda? I never did finish Tears of the Kingdom. I finished Breath of the Wild, but I never did finish Tears of the Kingdom because I can never figure out how to make that green bar larger so you can build shit. Because it got to a point where the game just got way too cryptic for things that it really shouldn't have been cryptic about. Like, so I just lost interest in it, and I never beat it. I'm sure it's a great experience if you can figure out how to do it. I'm sure it's a great experience, but I couldn't like because you got that underground part, you got the regular part, and you got like all the sky, and somewhere in there I could never figure out how to get the currency right with the zonite shit. I just could never figure out. Did you get some of the zonite, but you gotta mine it or something? I don't know. You gotta give it to the robot to make it, but you gotta know where the robots are, and it's not like marked on the map. So it's like, where the fuck do I go with it? And the game's massive, right? Especially for a Nintendo game, And it's like it was just too. The first game was getting around at points, but the second game just got so ridiculous with that shit. I wouldn't play. I'm not spending money on another Zelda. I'll pirate that shit. I'm not buying one because they pissed me off with that. I can never I just couldn't figure out the currency. I couldn't figure out how to get the currency to work right. So I still got 3 little bars, like the whatever bars you start out with. That's what I still got. Yeah, I could never figure out how to get full armor set, so I got all mismatched armor, right? Is it just I felt like I really feel like games like Metroid and Zeldas, these kind of games, their whole thing is trying to sell that they're long games, and in reality, they're very short games just made to be complicated, so they can say, "Oh yeah, it's a 50-hour game." Like, no, this is a 3-hour game if you actually know where to go, right? This is from now on, video game reviewers should add in, okay, the length of time if you know where to go versus the length of time if you have no idea where to go. Like Metroid, any Metroid game is about, I say, 3 to 4 hours in length if the player actually knows where to go, right? That other 28 hours is padding bullshit, right? And it's the same thing with the Zelda game, with Tears of the Kingdom. Well, in my opinion, Tears of the Kingdom. Same thing with that. If you actually knew what to do and do it well and properly, it's not a terribly long game. But it's the fact that they're gonna space shit out, make shit hard to find, make shit confusing, that's gonna make it a 50-hour game. So they could sell it as a 50-hour game and say, hey, yeah, you got your money's worth. No, you didn't. You didn't get your money's worth with that. Because they filled up. Okay, it's the equivalent of writing a paper for university, right? Well, I say university. Writing a college paper that's supposed to be a 40-page paper, and literally like 35 of the pages are just garbled nonsense. But you turn to your teacher and say, "Hey, yeah, this is a 40-page paper," and the teacher give you an A on it. That's what people. That's how video game reviewers are reviewing Zelda games. Right, this is 90% padded bullshit. right. I'm a fan of making games 4 hours long. I think more games than not really need to be 4 hours, 5 hours long. Games do not need to be 40, 50 hours long, especially nowadays. In the video game world, I'm a fan of making a game initially 4 hours long, and if enough people like it, then make more episodes after that. But trying to come out with a game to make it 40 hours long just for the sake of making, like Ubisoft, making games 40 hours, 50, 60, 80 hours long just for the sake of the selling point of a 50, 60, 80 hour long. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, it says it was stuck. I just updated my computer. I just updated my MacBook, and it's been acting weird since I updated it. Could you tell us about your time in Buenos Aires? I wasn't there a long time. I think about relocating there, but work remotely for a U.S. company. Oh yeah, I would say it's a good place to do that for sure. Yeah. It's KWC. Yeah, it's definitely worth it to go there for sure for any of it, especially Buenos Aires. I mean, you got to remember if you're okay, if you're from the U.S., you're gonna go down a little bit in quality with in many areas like okay, like because like in the U.S., like we're used to a certain level of quality, like where we live, like how our apartments look, our house looks. We're used to a certain level of quality in furniture and shit like that. When you start going to countries like Czech Republic, Buenos Aires, when I was in Kiev, same thing in Kiev. See, you got to okay, when you go to these countries, the average quality is a lot lower. And I don't say a lot lower, but it's definitely noticeably dirtier and lower, like versus what we're used to in the U.S. And then the other weird part is when they do get nice shit, it's this weird, perverted, glorification of it. That's just it's awkward, but they think they're doing hot shit, right? Right, like in America, like most motherfuckers would never go to IKEA like that. Like you mean like to buy some like hardcore furniture. We wouldn't in America. We would never do that. I mean, we go to IKEA just like for a hobby, some shit like that. But out here, motherfuckers love IKEA, dude. Like they can't get enough of it. A motherfucker out here will redo their whole flat in all IKEA shelves, plates, everything, and then rent the motherfucker out for for way too expensive because it's what they know, right? So if you're coming from the U.S., one, I would say, okay, do it, but some things are going to be a little off, especially when you go to these. I would even say that the little bit I was in Germany, it was the same way. Like Germany's not a poor country. Germany's not poor at all, but the little bit that I was in Germany, it was kind of the same way. Like the overall like quality of of just buildings and shit, or where people would live. Like it's just overall like a lesser attention to detail kind of thing. Now I'm not saying like everybody's just walking around dirty. I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm trying to say is like there is that jarring situation that happens. And I'm not trying to say this to bash anybody. I'm just speaking honestly about it. Because when I for example, like when I talk to somebody in North America or they send me pictures of, or I look at my dad's house or talk to somebody else in the U.S. and I see like where they see their shelves have like legit intricate, not shelves, but you call it the cupboards, the doors on the cupboards have like legit, it's just a whole different level of just quality overall that I kind of miss a little bit. But on the other side of it, when you come, you'll definitely find food is a lot cheaper and better quality food. But things like technology, anything that has to do with technology, you're going to notice a big drop off. Not a big drop off, but you're going to notice a decline when it comes to technology. So like Buenos Aires, well, I have been to Buenos Aires in over 10 years, about 10 years now, but I would say I would do it. If I didn't have my son or family here, I would probably be in Argentina because I couldn't go to Ukraine anymore. I would have probably went back to Argentina and lived because down there the average wage I think is, let's look at the average wage. The average wage in Argentina, let's do Buenos Aires average wage. I don't know how to spell it. So this says about $450. So what you also have to remember about these, because I remember last time I got into this about the topic about the average wages. So I want to correct myself on something I said before. The average Czech wage, it's these little areas that they always countries like to severely fudge these numbers so they can look better to like richer countries, right? So the average wage in Czech Republic has gone up. But the thing is, so did taxes, right? So what the people are actually taking home, the average wage has actually gone down here. But see, these are the ways of how countries fudge numbers, and they'll dig to any depth to manipulate it so they can look better for richer countries to be free, that are getting more aid, or if they can send their people to that country to get money to get it sent back to their home country, whatever the fuck. Countries will do these things. So I want to correct myself a while back. Again, Czech Republic, somebody said the average wage in Czech Republic was like, I don't know, like $1,500 a month. Okay, most Czechs are not earning that. Even in Prague, they're not going to earn that. Okay, now before taxes, it can be that. It can be higher like that. But after tax, see, most other countries, Americans complain about taxes, but America is probably paying around the least in taxes. I would say probably pretty much in the entire world. America pays the least in taxes. And when you really think about it, it'll make sense that how that can even be possible. But Americans pay much lesser in taxes than most of the rest of it. I would say most of the rest of the world, just ignorantly speaking. But just based off of the logic of how the world works, I would go ahead and say the majority. The Americans probably pay less in taxes than the majority of the rest of the world. I would go ahead and say that. Again, I'm just speaking out of ignorance because I haven't actually looked into that extreme of it. But I'll go ahead and say that. But so here's the thing. So the average wage can be. Let's just go ahead and just say the average wage is $425. Here it is right here. $425 a month in Argentina. Now, what you also got to, first off, that number is taking into effect the top 1%, the top 2%, the top 5%, the top 10%, the top 20%. Right? That number's factoring all that, the top 5% of earners, all this shit like that. I mean, there's a good chance that because they're going to do this. Then, let's do this. How do paying taxes? Yeah, and see, here's the thing about Google, and this is one thing I always try to stress to my VA counselor, people I know before they come over here, is that you really can't rely on the internet like you can in North America. Like, because countries just lie, period. Even North America will lie. But especially when we get out of the U.S., like, countries will lie. So this says from 5 to 35%, depending on income. Okay, I don't believe that at all. The average tax rate is 4%. Yeah, that's a lie. Yeah, okay, and see, yeah, and right now Argentina is not gonna be the best one to Google because Argentina is like, I'm not trying to say this to bash the country because I like that, I would live there, but Argentina is in a severe financial crisis right now because they've literally defaulted on International Monetary Fund loans from the U.S. So like they just have no money, so they're gonna lie with all these numbers to make it sound like they got it under control. That right now is not the best time to really even look up anything about Argentina's finances. Because they're just going to lie at this point. Because loan. Because they're in severe financial crisis. Here it is right here. Yeah. They failed to pay $500 million on due dates to its creditor. And they owe more than that. Since it was seeking to restructure its $100 billion debt with private bondholders and $45 billion borrowed by Argentina is in severe. This is Wikipedia. I don't like using Wikipedia. Let's use Reuters. So see, this is why it's not a good idea to really Google anything financial on Argentina. I think I'm freezing up right now. Am I back? Okay. This is why it's not a good idea to really try to look up too much about Argentina's finances is because they're severely fucked up right now. Yeah, here we go right here. So this is how much the IMF has loaned out. So the IMF, so I might get some of this wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and try to just explain it off the top of my head now. So I always get the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund confused, but what it essentially is, in the long run, what both of them are going to be either the country's reserves that America just holds on to, or if I remember correctly, the IMF or the International Monetary Fund was set up in order to to offset any random crazy inflation that a country may face for whatever reason, or to offset any severe financial distress that any country may face, right? So if you ask, like, why would they do that? Well, the reason why you don't want countries like just completely going bankrupt, at midnight is because let's use Argentina as an example. If Argentina as a country were to lose all of its money, right? Really think about what that would mean, like in terms of consequences. Where would all those people go? Right? What would actually start to happen? You're going to start getting severe crime rates. You're going to get essentially, I was going to say KGB, but it's not KGB. But you're going to get a lot of individual cliques, gangs. They're going to team up, beating up, raping. The people are going to run away. They're going to run away to the neighboring countries, and it's just going to spread to all those cases. It's going to spread to Chile. I think Uruguay? I always forget which one's there. Uruguay. It's going to spread to Brazil. It's going to slowly spread and proliferate throughout. Right? This is what's going to happen and where is it going to eventually go? It's going to eventually go north. And Mexico is struggling. They don't got the resources. They trying to get their people in North America, right? To take the stress off, right? And what does that mean for North America? Right. See, this is the point. This is why the IMF was the World Bank / IMF. It's all going to come back to the same. It's the world safety net to try to prevent countries from going through that same process. Right. We use Europe, and it doesn't have to be any country that's even known. Just make believe countries. If one group of people in one area starts to go too broke and start struggling, they're going to start turning violent, and the violence is going to spread. And it's going to just cause more problems, more and more problems. Right. So yeah. So this is true shit. And it just got to the point where like Argentina the country just kept taking out loan money, and there was no actual investing into any type of STEM projects, and nothing that would actually keep them afloat. Right. I think for a while they were sending a lot of their kids to the U.S. for school to try to learn this shit. But in reality, all that happens is all that's going to happen is like, I think it's like a form of, I think the proper term is brain drain, where like, or maybe I'm using that the wrong way. It's the other way around, but it's essentially what happened to Africa when it was just starting to come back up out of what the Europeans did when they came there and like broke it up, was when it was like the percentage of Africans in the huge continent of Africa, the percentage of the Africans who actually were like trained and educated on the unanimous education system, they all just left the continent and went to Europe to work, or went to the US to work because they would earn more money. Right? So I think that's essentially what happened to Argentina when they tried the same thing. If they kept sending their kids to anywhere in Ohio to go study, well, they're just going to stay. They're going to do what they can to stay in North America. They're not going back to Argentina to go work, right? So at that point, like, there's just not a whole lot you can really do, right? Because okay, at that it's a deep situation. It really is. It really is. And Argentina's fucked up. Well, you can see just from this right here. And this is just what they owe to the IMF. Because they kept taking the money out, and there was no actual investment into anything. Right? It's fucked up. Now, but back to the original statement. If you want to go to Argentina to live, yeah, you don't have to worry about. Buenos Aires is not violent. I've never seen any since, but this was 10 years ago. But I never even felt like violence is more like an American thing. From what I understand, Russia can be violent. The UK has areas where it can be violent, but yeah, when I was in Argentina, there was never any sign of signs of violence. No, I would definitely recommend you go. But again, I'd say just watch out for that drop off for just either the drop off in quality or the perversion at the slightest bit of quality, because they don't know what to do with it, right? It's what happens to people. They just don't, because they're not used to it. They can't look around and see, a certain level of quality. So when they do get it, it's this, perverted sense of it. It's just, like I said, I'm not bashing anybody, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. It's just the reality of the consequences of life and logistics. Okay, here's the thing. It would be like coming to me, coming to people in my financial bracket and giving us like one Lamborghini, right? People gonna start going crazy over that Lamborghini because we can't afford that, right? So I'm not trying to single out people who are poorer than me. No, the same thing will happen to me and people who are richer than me. If Donald Trump came around, motherfuckers in my earning bracket, everybody's gonna secretly think that Donald Trump is gonna give them all his money, and and they're gonna start competing over Donald Trump's affection. It's just the reality of life. So again, I'm not trying to single out people who are like poorer than North America. It happens regardless of, whatever. It's going to happen. I really think Argentina is on the way out of it. Do you think they're out of the hole? Oh, yeah, anything can happen. That's a big hole to climb out of. That's a big hole. 45 billion for a country. Okay. Everybody's country's in debt, but okay, debt. There's more to it than just debt. It's debt, and then the possibility of. There's more to debt than just debt. All right, and the reason why, like, now these countries on this list, I don't know much about Pakistan, but the little bit I do understand about Egypt, Ecuador, Colombia, yeah, I would say these, at least the top three, just don't have a chance. Ukraine, Ukraine I would say Ukraine would be the best one to have a chance, but the corruption is just too bad there. So Ukraine is in the same boat. I was just talking to that woman yesterday about Ukraine, but I would say Ukraine. Ukraine has the benefit of. I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. Ukraine has the benefit of being white. When that's what happened with this war when Russia came in there. Them Americans dropped their panties to go save them. Right? For no other reason, they European and they white. That's all. Motherfuckers ain't know shit about Ukraine 15 minutes before that war started. Motherfuckers in America. You had these lonely ass dudes flying out there to go fight for these motherfuckers and all types of shit. I know you guys seen them stories. So like Ukraine has the benefit of being white. I'm just calling a spade a spade. It is what it is. They have that benefit in the world of getting pulling heartstrings and shit like that. They had that benefit, but I've been there, dude. The corruption is just too deep. You can't do nothing with that. I remember my first realization, like I'm really into something different now. Like I mean, the whole way in there was something different. But but the first realization was when I went to this market. Let me show you on Google Maps. It was this market I used to walk to. Well, it was this restaurant I used to walk to that had this croissant sandwich with like with dried salmon and like cream cheese, but it was really good, man. And I used to go there like every day to get this sandwich. But I fucked around. I used to always see this area where I used to cross. It was a store across the street. Shit, I don't even know where the fuck I am right now. I think. Okay, so this is so this is gonna be that capital. Or no, is it? I don't even know. I have no fucking idea. Maybe this is it. Okay, yeah, no, I have no idea where this is at. Exit the fuck out of that. Oh fuck, I'm not. Let me try it one more time. See if I can find train station, because I never knew where the train station was at. Let's do this. Kiev. Oh shit, not Kiev Central. Oh fuck. Oh, what was that? I can't think of the fucking name of it. Because they always gonna call their shopping malls are called centrums over here. This is not it. I don't know. Oh no, I think I do know where this mall is, and this is not what I'm talking about. No, I don't even know where this is. Oh, I can't find it. But anyway. Wait, no, this is it. Yeah, this is it. Okay, I know where I am now. Or is it? No, this isn't it. That looked like it. That's not it. I can't find it. But anyway, when I noticed I was into some different shit was, well, first I started noticing there was always an old person standing on the street selling fruit, fresh fruit, right? And at first I was trying to make logical sense. Like maybe they just want to be outside selling fresh fruit. Maybe they just bored, right? It was always an older person standing out on a corner somewhere selling like fresh fruit, right? Fresh fruits and vegetables. It was always somebody on some corner selling fresh fruit. I'm like, oh wow, this is the shit that we see in American movies, and this is how Europe gets romanticized, right? Like motherfuckers on the street selling fresh fruits and vegetables. Yeah, it should be a fucking flute playing and violins playing while I walk down the street with my bitch in a sundress and we buy some fucking fresh fruit on a fucking corner from some old motherfucker, right? This is the shit that we see in movies that shows Europe being, you know, that perfect white Europe, right? Right? Like, wow. But I knew it's like something just wasn't right about it, right? So I kept walking around. And like I would slowly start to notice like, you know, weirdly posh things that shouldn't have been posh, you know what I mean? Stuff like this. And then when it really hit me was there was this, I randomly walked into this building that I'd always seen. It was like a market. And I'm not joking, dude. When I walked in there, it was a bunch of old people in there selling like dried fish and like dried cheese and cheese and shit like that. And these motherfuckers like would literally yell at you to hunt you down, wave you over to come buy some fucking disgusting looking dried old oily fish. And it was just filled with with old white people in there, right? And it was all and they wouldn't take no for an answer. You'd be like, I'm all right. And they just keep going. And then so after like I seen that, and I had to walk all the way through because it was like one of them. It was like you mean like it was like a haunted house. It was a haunted house filled with old white motherfuckers, right? So you want some old fish, but they don't speak English, but you mean old fish, right? And I did the math. Like when I really thought about it, I was doing the math, and I was like, oh no. See, like, because I'm still kind of operating off North America. See, like, in North America, like, you know, we separate based off of skin color, whereas out here, it's not the skin color anymore. So I thought about it. I was like, no, like, based off the finances over history and time, like, these people might have worked their entire lives, but their pension it just wasn't ready for inflation in their country at all. It wasn't ready for that. Inflation from so many different ways, from population to Westerners coming over there to buying up shit. You got the whores in there going out there getting Western men to come back and dumping all their money in that. So 20, 30 years ago, when $250 a month would have been all right, now that ain't shit, right? And their pension was their pensions ain't probably nothing but $100 a month, right? And that was when I put together, like, wow, no, like those movies and shit that America tries to romanticize about Europe. No, dude, that's because these people are fucked up. It ain't because they just all pleasant and happy. They fucked up. They poor. Right? And then what's worse is you go like literally like not even a block down the street and they got Dolce and Gabbana. And the young kids, they don't care. The young kids, they don't give a fuck. They walking around with a $400 belt on, right? And wanting to sit outside with their makeup on just so people can see them. Eating food that they know people can't afford. Why? Not even to mention why there's a homeless family literally sitting in front of the Dolce & Gabbana store. When I say homeless family, I'm not talking about like, oh, they just don't want to go home. No, I'm talking about, no, these motherfuckers are homeless. Like, they do not have a home. And they sitting outside of Dolce & Gabbana with their kids. Because the way it was set up, the Dolce & Gabbana, it was Dolce & Gabbana, it was like a bunch of other fancy stores. Right? And it was like, oh, it was all on this. It was like right next to this, like, eatery place. And they would sit out there with their kids and send their kids to go up to your table to ask you for food or money. There's no shame in that. And they don't care if you seen them asking them or not. They don't give a fuck. They will send their kids to go out there. Why are you sitting at your table to ask you? Now, Argentina didn't have anything like that. Argentina, and quite honestly, the wages are about the same in Argentina. And what I was able to deduce, was that South America, well, I say Argentina just more accepts it. Like they don't like. There's not this extra drive, right? And I think media has a large part to do with this. When I was in Argentina, you didn't see, like, you can tell there's definitely a drop off in quality in many parts, but like they weren't miserable in it, right? Like they're not miserable with it. Whereas like, see, like, and again, I think this is, I strongly believe that media it has a lot of influence on this. See, the poor white people think that they secretly kind of deserve it because they can always see TV or movie where somebody looks like them and is out there doing it, right? There's not much media that shows them as the loser in life. So for the white population, they see that and secretly think that should be me, and if it's not me, I'm miserable. Right? Whereas brown people, we're used to seeing it, media bash us. We're used to media showing us as like, yeah, crime and whatever. We're used to that. We're used to having it shoved down our throats that we don't go to school, we don't know how to read, we only speak Ebonics, this type of shit. We're used to looking out into the world and seeing that, yeah, like we expect to be treated as lesser off the jump. Immediately, we're used to it. So like with back to Argentina, like I never got the sense that they were miserable in any kind of way. There was never that miserable, that sense of like, even with the homeless, the crime, the biggest crime that would go on, it may be some pickpocket and shit, but there's never gonna be like not that physical violence. No, they don't. No. Not at all. And again, I think like I said, back to the media situation, and I think what makes Europe even more miserable, like this is why like Czech Republic, like a lot of Czechs can be more miserable because of it, is because just as quick as they can look at TV and be mad that that's not them, like they also know that some rich Westerners coming over here, typically on average is going to be white, and they're going to come over here and give a lot of money to some white, Czech person, Ukrainian person. So that just amplifies the misery of the people there, right? Again, I'm not saying this to try to make lines up to say you should hate white people or should hate black people, whatever. This is just what I was able to observe. Again, when I was in Argentina, I never got that feel. I'm not saying crime doesn't exist, because it's going to exist everywhere for one reason or another, and there's different dynamics to why it's going to exist. But when I was in Argentina, I never felt like there was a sense of being miserable. Right? Like when white people are miserable, they're miserable. When black people are miserable, it's Tuesday. right? It's another day for us. But when white people are miserable, they're miserable. And again, I think it's because of media. Right? If you just look at any random media, you're going to see, as a white person, you're going to see somebody who looks like you succeeding. So on one hand, it gives you some hope, but on the other hand, it can create, envy because maybe, the white person isn't at the time, whatever. Why do you think foreign women are willing to have a child with a man who is visiting their country, knowing they would eventually become a single mom? Because they can create an identity in being a parent with because they can create an identity that has some type of complication of importance with a foreign man. That's it. That's why. Because they can make it a part of their identity. A lot of women do that. Because maybe she doesn't have a lot of times she's not going to feel like she has an identity for herself. She's not going to have her own independent identity in the world. So she's going to make her identity, she's going to fuck a foreign guy. She's going to stay in contact, fuck a foreign guy. Stay with him. Do whatever she has to do to stay with him. You don't care. Now, she wouldn't do the same thing for a man in her country, but she'll do it for a foreign guy. A lot of women do that. A lot of women do that. Well, most women do it on some level, but a lot of women, in the world do that. She wants that identity because now she always has that identity, right? She can always go to the party and say, "Hi, yes, my boyfriend, husband, baby's father. Yes, yeah, he's not in country right now." That's why. So she can say that. It's like, "Oh, he's not in country right now. Is he traveling somewhere?" Yeah. See all of that. That's why. Make an identity. Ukrainian mail order brides are still half off. Left or right half, your choice. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, because that was another topic me and the woman were talking about. Because she was saying how when she went to Australia. So real quick, for anybody who may have tuned in now that wasn't in earlier. Yesterday I was speaking with this Czech woman. She's going on 60 now. And she's married to an Australian dude, but she knows what it's like to be illegal in countries, shit like that. So, she's super down to earth. She was saying how when she went to Australia, that Australia, especially at the time, Australia was trying to make it as difficult as they could for her to get married to her husband, right? Because Australia was afraid that all Eastern European women were out to, screw over Western men. And I was honest with her. I said, well, I could understand that. Because, and I made clear, I'm not saying that she was like that, but I can understand that because there's so many men in Western cultures that are just lonely and naive, and there's women out there who would do anything to have any type of sense of accomplishment, that they'll do anything, say anything. But yeah, back to the original thing. If you want to go to Argentina, man, I would say go for it. Cosmic, you said the new president has slashed all kinds of government departments for Argentina. Yeah, hey, I just go for it, man. Here's the thing. Once this, okay, as the leader of a country, that's just a hard position to be in, man. That's a hard, and again, I started earlier, debt is not just the debt alone that's the problem. It's multiple other situations so let's say, for example, Ukraine. Everybody's country's in North America's in debt. Everybody's in debt. Every country that can protect itself is in debt. And if it's not in debt, it can't protect itself. Pick one. Whichever one you want to pick, but pick one. Everybody's country is either in debt or it can't protect itself. So they gotta pay somebody to protect them, or they'll try to do like, what country is that? Is that Sweden that does that faggot shit? Like, oh, we're neutral in the war. No, the fuck you ain't. What's some countries that think they neutral in the war? They try to push that neutral war shit. Countries who are Switzerland. Yeah, Switzerland. You get the fuck. Ireland, Japan. Talk about you neutral. Yeah, no, the fuck, you are not neutral. This is the most annoying shit I ever be reading. Whenever I get in the topic of world politics, these countries, Switzerland and Finland try to say they neutral and all that. Get the no, the fuck you ain't. You are not neutral. You think you neutral. Just because you just try to be quiet when people start getting mad. But you ain't neutral. You just ain't been pushed yet. You ain't neutral. We don't believe in war. We believe in peace. Get the fuck out of here. Let too many guns start popping off and too many bombs start getting dropped. Yeah, I bet you ain't neutral no more. You're going to take a side sooner or later. So you pick your fucking balls up and make a decision. Well, I can understand Finland. Let's be clear. I can understand Finland's situation. I think they just became a country in like 1995 or something like that. I can understand Finland's situation of just being scared because they're just next to Russia. Well, they were Russia, but they're just next to Russia. So like, it's that thing. Like, the only people who like Russia are people who can't get away from Russia. In politics, that's just what it is. Like, the only countries who like Russia are the countries who just can't. They're just too close to, because Russia is just closer. That's why they like Russia, kind of thing. Yeah, it's not a secret. You can Google it anywhere. Like, it's not a secret. It's not like I'm gonna get killed on YouTube for saying that. It's just reality. Something like that. I forget the saying, but the countries who are friendly it's either because they're close to it or they're friends with somebody who's close to it, and that's it. Like, nobody likes Russia because they just out in the world just chilling. Again, if you read enough in the politics, you're gonna come across. I can't think of the exact saying, but it's something along those lines. But it's a saying. Russia's just closer. But yeah, that whole thing of we're neutral in war. Yeah, that's some fag. Yeah, no, the fuck you ain't. Like I said, I can understand Finland, but the rest of these countries, no. Maybe one of the stands too. I can see that, but no. You say this is not being neutral. This is, you just haven't made a decision yet. Neutral is just a classy way of saying it, so you don't. So you don't sound like you're indecisive. That's like, you and your girl trying to figure out where to eat, and your girl just doesn't talk because she says she's neutral. You see, a woman, a bitch is neutral. Bitches use the word neutral in this context so they don't come out and say, yeah, I'm just indecisive. There's a difference in this context between being neutral and being indecisive. This is indecisive. You're scared to take a side. But be clear. Let's be clear. Like I said, when enough bombs start getting dropped, they gonna take a side. Because they can't protect themselves. Hey, let's just be fucking real about it. I'm gonna have to take a side. I'm in Czech Republic. If something start happening, well, I'm in Czech Republic and we cover under NATO. But let's say if something starts happening, I gotta pick between North America, like right now. Oh wait, okay. Let's say if something starts happening and some bombs start getting dropped, and they'd be like, hey, AD, you can pick. You can go back to America or you can stay in Czech Republic. Well, now I got a son here, so I'll probably stay with my son. But if I didn't have a son, I'm going back to North America. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck off me. This is my bus stop. I'm going back to the U.S. But I got a baby here, so, I wouldn't leave him. I definitely wouldn't leave my son if something were to happen. I would not leave him. If something were to happen, there is no way I could leave my son. And I can leave my son in a country. There is absolutely no way I can do that, man. I couldn't do it. I can't even think of a way that's even mentally possible for me to even validate in any way doing that. Like, it's just a complete, in my brain, there's just a complete block there. It's just not gonna happen. But if I didn't have a son, oh, I'm out this motherfucker in minus 2 minutes. What's up? Drinkers here, bottoms up. KW says, with the job I'll be taking in Argentina, it's a small drop off in pay for me, but will still be able to afford day-to-day expenses. I'm interested on how they treat black men. Here, KWC, to be honest with you, I was treated, the kids, while I was going to schools teaching, the kids loved me. The adults, it was hit or miss. And I think majority of that is because, like, the kids love me because they came up in a different time. So they don't really know, like, the colorism that harshly. The kids now there. The kids from I'd say roughly, I guess they had to be about 10 to about 17 years of age, all in those age groups. And they all always went to work with me. They didn't, because I was there with the school. And I was the only black dude in the group with the school. And they would always come to me. The kids, now the teachers, everybody else, all the adults, they went there, they wouldn't fuck with me, right? Because they knew that money was coming from them white people coming that I did in my group. They knew that's where most of the money is, because the teachers at these schools, the grown adults at these schools, they didn't really want to talk to me like that. If anything, they would mostly ignore me. I won't say ignore me, but they didn't come across me. But the kids loved me there. The kids loved me. And again, I think, like I said, I think it's media. Then on top of that, like being grown up on media, the kids now, they probably weren't as indoctrinated into that shit as like the older people were. Or maybe, I don't know. I'm speaking out of ignorance because I didn't grow up in Argentina. But the colorism's real amongst their own. Don't even think that that's not a thing. That the colorism is real. When you go to the poor schools, all those kids are shades darker. And those private schools where they go to school, and the schools are not, okay, in America, we would see these schools and be like, yeah, this is a dirty, inner city school from the 90s, right? You know how them schools used to look, them dirty inner city schools, like in the 80s and 90s, everything was old wood or old linoleum. The desk was half falling apart. Well, that's how they private schools looked where I was at down there. But the kids would come to school in uniforms. They didn't wear just any random thing. They was coming to school in uniforms. And they was going out partying all night, just like the poor kids were. They all both of them were doing the same shit. But the only difference was the richer kids, they parents owned islands and they had homes in North America and shit, where the poor kids, they parents would take all their money and just buy a big screen TV with it and not buy any school books for their own kids with it, right? Which is, I'm not making that up. That's complete truth, by the way. I remember when we went down there, it was this gay dude. I'm still friends with him on Facebook. I always thought he was a great guy. His name was Jorge. And he was from, I think, I can't remember where the fuck he was from. Let me look up, where's my phone? I don't know where it is now. But he was from, I think he was from Puerto Rico or some shit like that, but he spoke Spanish, like fluent Spanish. And I remember I was talking, because Jorge was about Jorge and his husband, which is weird to say, but both of them were great people. Jorge and his husband were the only ones. Jorge, his husband, and my direct teacher, she grew to start talking to me later, but she didn't talk to me like that at first either. Only the two gay dudes, Jorge and his husband, they were the only ones who would talk to me. And I asked Jorge, because Jorge spoke Spanish. He knew that mentality better than I did. And I said, And I said, well, why don't these kids have school books? He goes, and he was completely honest with me. He goes, yeah, in North America, you know how like when you go to inner city schools and the parents, they just be wasting money on stupid shit. I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, same thing here. Same thing wherever you go. Doesn't change. Because Jorge was Puerto Rican and his husband, his name's Dan. He's a white guy. Both of them were great guys. I love both of them. Both of them were, I have no complaints. Because I remember when he first told me because I didn't even think about it. It was me, Jorge, his husband, and like we were sitting at a table, and then like, because they was the only ones who would talk to me. Nobody else would talk to me. And we was sitting there talking, and I was trying to ask Jorge, because Jorge was another teacher too, but his husband, I didn't know it was his husband at first. I didn't know who the fuck he was. I thought maybe it was just homeboys or something. They was just real cool. Right? And so we was sitting in this steak restaurant. I remember the steak restaurant because I remember when I went to the bathroom, there was a hole in the fucking floor. And when I say a hole, right, I'm talking like there was linoleum there, but it was just like a little bomb went off and it was a hole just in the middle of the fucking bathroom, right? You had to walk around this hole in the bathroom to go use the toilet. It was dimly lit, like it's a drop off in quality, right? It was a steakhouse, and it was in the city. It wasn't like it was like out for some village. This was in the city, and I don't know, we sit down, and I was asked, I said, hey, how did Dan come here? Like, do you work with the school? And they were starting. They were starting to get kind of nervous. He goes like, no, I don't work with the school. I said, oh, well, how'd you guys, like, did you paid to come here? Like, are you going? I was going to University of Dayton. I was like, do you go to UD? And he goes, no. And then Jorge, I remember he just kind of blinked real hard, goes, oh, no, Dan is my husband. And I don't even know what my reaction was as I was drinking. I don't even know what my reaction was. Maybe I went like this. Maybe I, had to catch my breath. I don't even know what my reaction was. Because you're not used to hearing that shit. Like, how many times you just go hang out with motherfuckers who you don't even think are even gay, right? Like, it's not like one of them was like super feminine or nothing like that. They weren't like, the butchest of guys, but nothing. If you were to see either one of them in real life, you would never think that one of them was gay. Never. Right? So how many times do you just hear a motherfucker be like, yeah, this is my husband, a man? You know what I mean? Like, in your face, in real life, and y'all sitting down, chilling, drinking, and they bust out with a line like that. Right? But they was cool, man. Like we still friends on Facebook. I don't talk to him much, but yeah, like I love the guy. I think he's fucking great. I love the guy. I love both of them. Because I got sick, and they was the only ones who would talk to me. Like, they was the only ones that was actually there. It wasn't on some, like, secretive gay shit. They was just, like, there, right, as humans, right? And they brought me some Theraflu, because I got real sick, because I did cocaine with that one girl I hooked up with. I hooked up with this Vietnamese girl down there, and I met her on Tinder, and she paid for my taxi ride, and she just had bottles of alcohol just on the table as soon as I walked in. There was a stripper pole as soon as I walked in. And she ordered some cocaine like it was a pizza. And the dude came and dropped it off like a pizza. And it was like, it's no joke, like that big, and we just did cocaine, and I got so sick off of that cocaine the next day. Like the next night, I was just so sick. And they brought me some Theraflu. I don't know if I told them I did cocaine. I can't remember if I actually told anybody, but yeah, because I was going to a private school, a private university, man. I was going to University of Dayton. You can look it up. That's the school. It's a Catholic school. And yeah, it was good. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it, but it's just that thing, man. I liked it. My mom actually graduated from there, and my gay uncle graduated from there. I miss the school sometimes. But yeah, back to the original. Yeah, definitely go, man, go. Just go. Because like I said, if the average wage there is like, okay, most people are going to bring home about $300 a month. as long as you making, $300 a month, as long as you got some way to as long as you have enough money in your bank account to look at it and say, yeah, I can survive for at least 6 months down here with no money coming in. Yeah, definitely go for it. Just go on a tourist visa, man. Just hang out for a couple months. Because you say you got a job and you can work remote. Definitely do it, man. It's a long plane flight. It's like, I think it's like a 12-hour plane flight, I think it was. It's a long flight. It's just south, but it's a long flight. But that was my first long flight, so it was that much longer for me. But to go. Because I show you Kentucky Pizzeria. That was where I used to go. Kentucky Pizza. It's on Santa Fe. This is where I used to go. Because they rebuilt it while I was there. It's on the corner. Pretty sure it's on Santa Fe. No, I don't know. I don't think this is it. I don't recognize none of these streets. Yeah, no, this is not it. I don't know what the fuck this is. Because it was tall. It was like, it was in the city. What country is this? What the fuck is this? What is that? YPF? What the fuck is a YPF? It looks Spanish. What's this? Gelato. Gelato your ass off my screen. Oh no, this is Kentucky Province. Oh, this should be it. No, what is it? Pizza Steam? What the fuck is pizzas? Oh, okay, I'll show you the hostel I was staying at. Rihanna. This is okay. So this is the hostel I was staying at. So because I remember I used to walk every day from this hostel. Okay, it's gonna be on the right. So this is the hostel because I remember we used to sit on that balcony up there. This is the hostel I was at. I'd highly recommend it. The guy here, he's still there. I can't remember. I'm still friends with him on Facebook, and we write every now and then to each other. I still know the owner of the place. He still remembers me. I don't know why. He still remembers me. So he's go out here, Santa Fe. You gotta walk all the way down this street. All the way. It's not too far. So I don't think this is Santa Fe. I think it's the next. Hello. Come on, Google Maps. It's stuck. Oh my God. Okay, no, because I know where that is. Okay. I think. So is this Santa Fe? Or did I just go to... I don't know where the fuck... I'm lost. I'm fucking drunk, dude. I don't know where the fuck I'm at now. I'm lost. I'm fucking drunk. I have no idea where I'm at. But all this looks like where I was at. Oh, no, I know where I'm at now. Because it was this park up here. Okay, I just went like... Because in the wintertime, this place looks like shit. This whole park area looks like, because that's when I was there. I was there for our summertime, which is their wintertime, and it looked like shit. But now there's, people outside playing, there's grass. So it looks great now, but looked horrible when I was there. I remember a lot of these stores were just like closed. Like this whole area was just like pretty rough. Because again, it was their winter. It's just what everybody's country goes to that in the wintertime. It's not just them. I'm fucking lost. But I do know where I'm at with this park. Because I walked around here so many times. And I know this store here. I'm just lost at where the... I'm fucking drunk. $2 wine will fuck you up. This street? Where's the balcony? No, I don't think. But, so real quick though, yeah, they'll have like... So these kind of places like this, now this isn't what I was talking about in Ukraine. This is not what I was talking about in Ukraine with people. So like, this is a good place. Places like this, it might be a little expensive because you're in Buenos Aires for Buenos Aires prices, but these are good places. I'd highly recommend these. Any place you see like this is usually gonna be good. These in most of the U.S. this is just unheard of to see shit like this. But, because I know this area, it was like, because I think there's a Starbucks up here somewhere on a corner. Yeah. Oh, but I think it was right there. They put a bike club. I'm so fucking lost right now. Because I met one girl. The reason why I know this area is because I met a girl and we would always walk around up here. And that's why I know, like, this area. I still remember this area, but I'm just completely fucking lost. But yeah, the $2 wine to get you every time. 80, what would be the best advice you would give to someone living in the U.S. and wants to make a change, like moving to another country and being a better person? But I mean, being a better person, man. Like you'll always, just life is gonna do that to you, man. It's like I would say this: traveling will make you a better person, right? And the longer you travel, the better you'll be, because the problem with staying in one place is staying in your home area. Is that like is you end up getting too focused on the little stupid things that everybody in your one area is focused on, and people become so much more focused on each other's little stupid fucking problems instead of seeing a much bigger picture in life. One example is I'm not going to try to share too much information because this is a family member I'm talking about, but there's people now who are age to retire, right? And one family member of mine is bringing in, like, he's getting, he's just social, what's it like, social security, whatever the fuck. And he's getting like $600 a month or something like that. And that's all his income, right? And in North America, like, dude, you're a fucking bum in North America if you bring in $600 a month, right? And then on top of that, your retirement age, you're older, right? And all you could bring in is $600 a month. I said, look, in the scheme of the world, dude, he can move to Argentina tonight and just show him his passport with his age in it and show him a pension, and they gonna let you move in there because they want your American dollars, right? You get I know many countries, many Asian countries will do that. If you just show up with your passport and you end up fill some paperwork, but show them that pension that you got this money coming in every month, and it's a pension, they gonna let you move in there. They gonna let you in there. They are not gonna reject that American. And then on top of that, you're not gonna work, so all your money is just literally just getting siphoned from North America into whatever country. They want you to come there. That's free money for them, right? Now, if you had to work there, that's a different story, right? Like, because now you're in their system, and they can still make money off of you. But for the person moving there with money coming from another country, dude, they want you to, they damn near pay you to come there for that, because that's money for them, right? But he can't see that, because he's stuck in Ohio. And that Ohio mentality with a bunch of sheltered people who are scared of their own shadow, right? And he's stuck. So he's going to live the rest of his life out living like a bum, stuck in Ohio, scared of everybody. Well, it was scared of the entire world, but trying to look tough. When everybody knows, he's a fucking, you're a bum, dude. In Ohio, you're going to be a bum in Ohio living like that. $600 a month. You're a bum. There's no way around it. Right? Because now you're too old to get a job. No education, too old to get a job, and you're making $600 a month. It's over. Leave. The country don't want you no more. Leave. But see, this is what I'm saying. So to become a better person, I would say you have to travel and stay traveling, stay gone, stay out, stay getting. Here's the thing: even if you're in a country where you just don't speak the language, see, you don't see yourself growing. It's like the theory of relativity. Like from your perspective, you're staying the same, but for people on the outside looking in, like you're not on the same. Like the theory of relativity, you're not on the same length that they're on, right? And they can see it, but you can't because you're in it, right? If you want to become a better person, I would say go watch Benjamin Button. The advice I would play that, but I don't feel like waking up to copyrights and going through the whole YouTube thing of fixing the copyright shit. But watch Benjamin Button, and the advice that he gives you in the advice that they give you in that movie is life advice that anybody on earth could use. And I say the same things. Like, go out, talk to people who you don't want to talk to. Play sports you don't like. Play video games you don't like. Take up hobbies you don't like. That way you get a whole surprise of an experience that you just couldn't even see coming because you don't like. Maybe not immediately. It may take a week. It may take a month. It may take 6 months to look back on and think like, wow. Do things you don't want to do, things that make you scared. Unless you have a phobia. Do things that make you uncomfortable. That's where the real beauty of life, that's where the real adventure, that's when you're going to find out what you really are, who you really are. Staying comfortable, you turn into a fucking baby all over. The more comfortable you try to stay, the more you turn into a baby. And that doesn't work it works for women. Women can be babies, but men can't be babies. Men are only valuable when they developed and learn new things. Women are valuable because they exist. So if you want to become a better man, watch Benjamin Button. This is what I can think about while I'm drinking $2 wine. Watch Benjamin Button and gain experiences in life. Do things. You ever fenced before? If you never fenced, go look up where to take fencing lessons and go do that. You ever sewed? Have you ever sewn anything? If not, then go get you a sewing machine for $30 and get on YouTube and follow instructions on how to sew a fucking pocket. Just a random pocket. And next thing you know, you've been done took off with that shit. Right? You don't know how to cook? Learn how to just make a basic bowl of soup from scratch. It's not hard because I know how to do it, but everybody doesn't know how to do it. This is how this is how those older guys end up being like. This is how those older guys you ever met in life who know how to do like some of everything. See, this is because they figured it out. You got to do things you don't like, do things you're not comfortable with, do things you don't think you would ever do. Within reason, I still work on my Czech, and I got much better at Czech in the last month. I had another boost where I had a conversation with a woman outside with my son because she hadn't seen him since he was a baby, and I had a pretty in-depth conversation with her in Czech, a much more in-depth conversation I usually have in Czech. But I've because like my brain will hit these weird spurts of like absorbing new words and then just can't absorb any new word ever again. So after I went to go buy some diapers for my son, I couldn't find them. And I asked this girl where the diapers were, and she said, "Vzadu." I said, what is this word Zadu? Because I always hear this word, but I never know what it means. So I pulled out my phone with the translator, and she was a cool girl, cute little young girl. And I said, hey, can you spell this word for me? Because I always hear this word Zadu, and I never know what it means. Actually, it's put up right now. She says Zadu. Zadu means in the back. Because she was trying to tell me where the diapers were. Can you guys see that? It's like it's off to the side. Hang on. Yeah, she was trying to tell me where, and because we were speaking Czech, and she goes, tak vzadu na doprava, which means in the back and then to the right, right? Doprava means to the right. Doprava means right. Dolova means left. So, but she said Zadu. I said, what the fuck? I said, well, what does Zadu mean? Because I always hear this word and I never know what Zadu means. So I pulled out my phone and said, hey, can you type this word in? Because I pulled up the Czech keyboard and had her type it in. And I looked at the translation. I said, oh, in the back. Like, I get it now. Like, okay. Because Zada means back. V means in. So if you combine it and then with Czech grammar, with in and with u instead of it makes sense why that would mean Zadu, but I never thought of it. I never put that together before, ever. Because usually, like, like I'll show you. V by itself means V or in, or S means with. So these, you'll see it written sentences, like, you know, on billboards or whatever. And you'll know, like, if you see V or in, it means in or with. But some words, they'll just combine it. Like, almost like a contraction, like how we do in English. Like, can't, won't, they'll combine the word to make it one word. I never knew what it was. So after that, I came home and told my spouse. And so she told me that, oh, yeah. And so I asked her what does in the front mean. And she says, vipchedu. 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 Or forward, yeah. Forward or in the front, yeah. So then after that, I started like just kind of thinking about words. And so then my brain was just magically open into learning, you know, to being able to speak. So I bumped into a woman with my son outside, taking him to the park. And she's just speaking fluent Czech. Like, you know, no pauses, not slow, you know, the full 100. Right. But I was able to follow her. So I had a conversation with her. And she asked me what his name was. I told her his name. And she thought it was something else. I said, no, Skolo ale toyo los dios. Skolo ale toyo los dios. I'll spell it out for you. Skolo ale. Oh, wow, no. Those, because I didn't put those deal. Okay, almost but different. So let me type in different just to make sure, because I probably spelled it wrong. Fuck. Oh, I see difference. Okay, which that kind of means, yeah, those deal means difference, yeah. So because she hadn't seen him for a long time. Back in 2006, on the beach in Jamaica, I hand stitched and repaired on my shorts on my cabin stoop. Nice, Cosmic Vagrant, nice. The ladies, front office housekeeping at the resort I was at, looked at me and asked to see when I finished. Yeah. What stereotypes do Eastern European women have about black men? Here's the thing. I've come across all types, because, you know, that's a general question. Like, here's the thing so I can only answer this on a general, because you asked in a general format, so I'll answer in a general format. Ultimately, women don't really care about these things. They care because they think rich white men care. So then you'll get a lot of these break-offs. But ultimately, women don't care about any of this shit. Women will have sex with a chicken. They don't care if they get horny. And they just don't care. But these things are known. So it depends on if you come across a woman who is open or a woman who's not. A woman who's not open will try to pretend like it doesn't exist. These are the ones I don't like. These are the ones I don't talk too much. The women who try to pretend like it doesn't exist, that I don't see color, blah, 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 blah. These are the ones I usually try to stay away from pretty quickly. Not because I think they're secretly racist, but just because I just don't feel like putting up with that at the time, usually. Because people can say it for any reason. They can say I don't see color because maybe they seriously don't see color. I think that's I think that's a very small percentage of people. I think most people who say I don't see color just don't want to touch on the topic of color because it's just a brutal reality. Now, but that's not to say that they're racist by any means. By no means that I think that they can still be racist, but it's just it's an uncomfortable it's an uncomfortable reality that most people don't want to talk about. Because here's the thing, especially if the person's white, like it's just like they could feel like they're on eggshells now. Like if they say like one wrong thing, they could be a racist now. It's like with me and for example, me and my spouse, right? We were in the kitchen talking. And she had, I forget, we were cooking something, and she didn't put salt in it, right? And and because she doesn't want to put salt in the food because he can't eat salty food yet. He's not supposed to eat salty food. So when she cooks, she doesn't put salt in the food, but she wanted to eat it, so she put salt in it. And she goes, "See, I'm black every like Tuesday and Wednesday, right?" And so I said, "Oh, so you steal every Tuesday and Wednesday?" Right? Because we have these racial jokes, right? Usually started by me, but we have these racial jokes. Like I always say, because like when we like for example, like if we go to the park, I'll say like, "Well, you better look out for those black people because they steal," and keep a straight face like the whole time. And she'll be the one like laughing about it, or so we always keep these like racial jokes going about like black people stealing or committing crimes and. We better look out because I heard there's black people out there, and they, you know how they are. But you gotta find a woman who absorbs it, who knows it's there and absorbs it. I would recommend. But again, you never really know. That's the thing. You never know where somebody's brain is at. You never know. Like the second woman I talked to yesterday, she asked me. She flat out asked me. She said, "Hey, like this is probably gonna be offensive. But I'm gonna ask you anyway. Have you ever dealt with any racism in Czech Republic?" And I told her, not severely directly that I can think of at the moment, no. But she was cool. Like she accepts she acknowledges this is a thing, but it's not an identity, but it's a thing that is just in the world. But to answer your question, it depends on the woman you meet. The context, the timing, it depends on a lot of things. That's it. It depends on a lot of things. I've known some women to say they would never date a black guy. I've spoke with women who've openly said that they don't find black men attractive or whatever the fuck. Right? It happens. I've come across people who when they see my passport and they see it's from North America, they ask, "Oh, well, where are you really from?" Because to Europeans, it's kind of awkward for them to understand that black people can be born, outside of Africa or Europe and not be some charity case immigrant. Theoretically, stereotypically, not theoretically, but a stereotype of a desperate immigrant searching to be rescued, right? So like it's kind of hard. So I mean, they didn't mean anything by it. We were genuinely talking, having a great conversation. And and that's just where their brain went to, because is logistically speaking, they're not used to if you're not a basketball player or a rapper, then you must be a poor black dude, who should be happy to be here, kind of thing, right? And I get it, like because it's what they've only seen in their life, especially being in Czech Republic, right? Because and see, this is the other part of the reality of immigration in Europe. See, the reason why there are not many immigrants here that aren't Vietnam. Okay, the reason why there's not many immigrants here that had nothing to do with communism is because all those immigrants go off to richer countries, right? Most of the immigrants that stay in, say, like Czech Republic, are usually or that are going to stay in Poland, that are going to stay anywhere in Czech Republic and East. Generally speaking, the only reason why most immigrants would stay in these countries is because they had some tie to communism, and that's why their family end up staying there for generations. But every other immigrant will usually end up filtering off in the richer countries for one reason, which is going to cause its own issues and problems like that. So that feeds more into the whole concept of like, oh well, we're white, so we're really kind of better than you for real. You know what I mean? But we're not just gonna say it. Like it fuels that shit more. But no, in reality, like, you're the poor whites. Like that's the reality of it. Like the reason why you don't see many blacks is because you're the poor whites. The browns are going to the richer countries. But you can't tell them that they don't get it. They're not gonna, they can't see that. What is life, man? It is what it is. My first job at the Renaissance Fair was as a weaver's apprentice, making cloth with a fly shuttle loom. I have no idea what the fuck 90% of that was, but it sounds cool. Go for it, man. But I mean, I've heard the jokes. The jokes are like black people leave doors open. Of course, like all the regular jokes, like black people are loud, which black people usually are loud. I'm loud. I can be loud or I can be very quiet. Depends on what time of day you meet me. But yeah, I remember when I was with my ex-wife, she told me all the jokes that she knew. One was like black people, they don't close doors when they leave rooms. They leave doors open. I can't remember any other one because we were sitting at the dinner table when she told me the jokes. But and again, it's like when I started off earlier with talking about the woman who lived in the UK years ago. It's weird how these things change. It's like, see, like back then, the women thought that, oh, you can only get with a non-white guy in a Western country. Where nowadays, like the white women now here will think that they're better than the brown people, right? Like it's crazy how that changes. It really is over time. And again, I'm not saying I'm not advocating anybody to hate anybody at all in any way, but this is just my analytical, perspective of it. But yeah, no, jokes are definitely a thing. But here's the thing with my ex-wife, I miss her mom. I like her mom was the one who taught me how to cook. Okay, correct. My dad taught me how to cook, but my ex-wife's mom taught me how to cook with nothing. My dad would teach me how to cook. My mom didn't even teach me how to cook. My dad would teach me how to cook. I said because I used to be happy when my dad would do it. Because he used to make. I don't know if he'd be mad if I talked about this on YouTube, but he used to always make hot dogs and corn with onions, and that used to be so delicious as a kid. Like you just cut up hot dogs and mix it with the corn and like cook it on the skillet and chop up some onions, and it was like the best thing when I was a kid, right? Or he used to make pancakes from a box. And I remember like I used to like not be able to wait until like it was like Saturday morning. I know my dad used to be pissed at me, dude, because, it's Saturday morning. He was working all week. This motherfucker don't want to get up and, be with a little stinky kid and teach him shit. But I remember he used to teach me how to cook, just essentially just heat up corn and hot dogs on a skillet and, mix up the batter that came out of a box of pancakes. Pour it in water, mix up the batter, and cook it. I remember wait till the bubbles came up out of it, and then you put the spatula and flip it. He used to teach me my dad taught me how to cook. My mom never taught me how to cook. My dad did, because my mom couldn't cook. She was a horrible cook. It wasn't a secret either. So I'm not like, bashing her. It was not a secret. But now my mother-in-law, my ex-wife's mom was the one who taught me how to cook with nothing. She was the one who opened my eyes to see, like, okay, I can go to the store with $1 in my pocket and make a good meal at home. She was the one who taught me that, because my ex-wife's mom grew up in communism time, so she knew how to do. She would go in there with some shit she picked out the fucking front yard and come inside and cook this shit. She had blackberries growing in vines all the way down this like makeshift fence that she had that separated our house from her house. And they'd be long blackberries too. They'd be like long blackberries, tart as fuck. I remember we had blueberry trees. I used to go out there. I used to go get the ladder and go pick blueberries and the blueberry tree be so tall you couldn't get all the blueberries because it was just too tall. Because blueberries, they grow in like clusters. And I used to go out there and pick them and put them in this metal bowl and take them and just eat them like that. And we had two cherry trees. One cherry tree was in the front and one cherry tree was in the back. We had raspberries. We grew they had raspberries because it wasn't my house. They had raspberries. Raspberries grow in like a bush and more of like a bush form. Raspberries don't, well, at least the ones they had, they didn't grow tall. They'll grow to about like waist high if you're like 5'7". They'll grow about waist high. And it'll be like little raspberries. And they grow like that. And I used to just pick all. Now the thing was, the hardest one to pick was cherries because cherries would ripe, but they would go bad. Like the cherry tree in the front was different than the cherry tree in the back. The cherry tree in the front, I remember those cherries as soon as they got to be like good, like plump and red, they went bad in like 4 days. You couldn't eat any of the cherries. But the cherry tree in the back, those cherries, once they stay ripe, they stay like that. Like you can go out there a month later and they were fine. So I don't know what the difference was with that, but it was definitely something going on. But my ex-wife's mother, she was the one who opened my eyes and said, okay, no, you don't need any money. You can legit be like poor, not poor, but like poor with no hope, and make you some great tasting food. She was the one who woke me up to that because she was retired and she had no money. And I remember she would cook all types of things, man. But one of the shocker meals that she would make was pigeons. She would cook pigeons, and they looked like, and she would cook them. And I remember she brought them out all on this tray. My spouse now, she didn't even know you can eat pigeons. And she's Czech. She didn't even know you can do it. I mean, I think she knew you could do it, but she never had it. But my mother-in-law, she used to make pigeons. And we used to go up there. It was some shit out of like, some Godfather movie when they would be in Europe. Like, you walk up this little hill to their little house, and you sit outside. Might be raining outside, and it's like, bells dingling and shit, and it's dark, and y'all just sitting around eating pigeons, right? So how she would serve it would be, it'd be like pigeons, like, cause it would be like miniature Cornish hens. Let me see if you got it. Let me show you Cornish hens. So Cornish hen is like these little small, like not small, but usually any mainstream grocery store in the U.S. is going to sell it at some point, and they're going to sell it like already cooked. You don't have to cook it. But pigeons were like a small version. It's literally just like I would say, just like this, but just much smaller. And she would just line them up just on this tray, and they would all be cooked. And you just pick off the pigeon you want to eat and eat it, right? It tastes a little weird, but nothing like too crazy. They're actually very nutritious, by the way, too. I remember I googled the nutrition afterwards, and they're actually pigeons are actually very nutritious. Fucking Popeye need to be eating pigeons. Fuck that spinach. Popeye need to just go out there and just eat a bunch of pigeons. But she was doing. I remember we used to go up there, man, and because I do kind of want to call my ex-wife because I heard her grandma died, and I liked her grandma too because I remember her grandma would always sit in this chair, the same chair, and read, and she would come to me and ask me what this word meant in English. Because the book would be in Czech, and it would have like a saying in English, and I would have to explain to my ex-wife to translate because I knew no Czech at this point. I would have to explain to her to tell to her granny that no, it means like I remember one was like my house, my home. That was one saying. But, she didn't speak English at all, so she needed me to translate it for her. She was the one who taught me that pali means burning in Czech. Pali means burning. Switch this. Pali. Am I going? Yeah, pali means burned or burning. Yeah. So you say, like you're eating food, and you go, pali, pali, pali. Like kids will always say pali, but I tell you pali, pali, pali. They're saying that it's too hot. Like, in any language, kids always say food is too hot when they don't want to eat it, right? And it's not hot at all. But she was the one who taught me that pali means burning or burnt. But these are just things you just, as you travel, you'll come across scenarios and learn shit. But I remember she used to fry mushrooms. She used to bake cakes and cookies and she'd make this shit like the store made it. And when I finally seen the oven she was working with and the stove she was working with, I'm like, she is doing that on this? So we would go up there and I would just watch her the whole time. That's what I would do, because they would be talking in Czech. I couldn't understand anything they were saying. And this is something as a foreigner, with a foreign family. Like, the one who don't speak the language ends up just kind of just staring off into the distance kind of thing, right? Because you can't understand nothing nobody's saying. So I used to just watch her mom just cook. I used to watch her, and she used to fry. I never had fried mushrooms before until she did it. The way she would make cookies, cakes. She could do, if it had artistic ability with cooking, she could do it better than any restaurant can do it. And she would do it with nothing. With nothing in there, dude. Like, nothing special, nothing. She ain't no Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay couldn't keep up with her, man. And Gordon Ramsay, he couldn't keep up with that. Gordon Ramsay couldn't keep up with that with double his budget. All right? For real. I don't have anything bad, no hate against Gordon Ramsay. I don't know him. I'm sure he's a great dude if you drink $2 wine with him, but look, that woman will outcook some of anybody. And that's who I learned from. Like, that next level. So by the time I met my spouse now, we would have cooking contests. I actually just fucked up something this last weekend, but we would have cooking contests. And she would end up eating everything I cooked, and she wouldn't eat anything that she would cook. I remember the first cooking contest we had when we started dating was, we had the same pasta, but we made it our own way to compete with each other. And I remember I just made my pasta and I just boiled it in milk until it became a cream and added salt and garlic to it and boiled it together so the flavors would all mix together. And I think she mixed in like tomatoes or something with hers. And she ate, and we tried each other's. She took a bite of mine and pushed her plate to the side and ate everything I cooked. Right? But to paint a realistic picture of fucking up, I just fucked up something this last week, and she's probably watching live stream now because she knows I'm getting ready to go with the cookie I tried to microwave. If she's watching, she's probably just chuckled right now. So this last weekend, I was chilling in the other room because they was all over here being loud and shit, and I really wanted something. I really wanted like a cookie. So I said, I'm getting ready to try to microwave a cookie, but make it from scratch. So I mixed in the butter, the flour, the baking soda, the vanilla extract, all this shit. But I didn't measure any of it, so it turned out horrible. It had all the right ingredients, and in terms of cookie dough, it was exactly how it should have looked. And I put it in this like kind of a bowl type of plate, and I microwaved it, and it cooked right. But I didn't mix it well enough. You really got to put that shit in a mixer and just let it mix for a while. But I didn't mix it well enough, and then I put too much baking soda in it. And for those of you who bake, like baking soda is one of those things that you really got to measure that, or either because if you overdo it, you just gotta throw it away because you literally cannot eat it if you put too much baking soda in it. And because once you put too much baking soda in it, it'll turn metallic, and it's impossible to eat. Like, you can't mix it with anything. You can't put icing on it to cover it up. It's done. You have to just throw it in the trash, and that's what I did. I took it. It smelled great when I microwaved it. She smelled it. It smelled wonderful. The whole house smelled like vanilla cookies. That shit didn't taste like it. That shit tastes like a fence. Shit was awful. I didn't even let her taste it because it was awful. Like, the texture was all right. It was soft and all that, but it didn't mix well. And I put too much bacon. I just eyeballed the baking soda, and it just didn't. I fucked that up. I fucked that all the way up. Dude, that shit went straight to the trash. No, honestly, no, it didn't. Be honest with you, I left it on the windowsill because I was kind of salty. So here's the other part of the joke to make myself sound more human. But this is actually happened. So when I made that, she was making spaghetti for the baby, right? Well, he's 2, but I just call him the baby. She was making tomato pasta for the baby. Tomato sauce and pasta for the baby. And I had just fucked up the cookie. Right? So, but I was still hungry because I couldn't eat the fucking cookie. I fucked it up. So I went to go get the pasta, and I ate it, and I was like, and she asked me, how's the pasta? I go, it's all right. I mean, it ain't that good. And I had like my mouth full of pasta because I was like fucking hungry, and it was good pasta. But I was like, it's all right. It ain't that good. I mean, it could be better. But she immediately got the joke because I fucked up, what I tried to cook, and hers was good, right? But so luckily she got, because sometimes she doesn't get the joke and she just ends up getting mad. But this time she got the joke and we were able to laugh about it. I think at one point I had my mouth like completely full, and I was just going, it's alright, it ain't that good. But luckily this time she got it. Again, sometimes she does it. Sometimes she just doesn't get the joke, and that's when it just gets to like, I gotta just go play a video game because now she's just mad because she didn't get the joke at all. And actually, I even told her, like, I'm glad that you got the joke. Because she knows sometimes. She knows that sometimes she gets emotional and, like, she can't get the joke at all. We did talk about that, but yeah, that just happened a few days ago. I fucked up that cookie. But now when I actually measure this shit, the cookies will be amazing. When I actually measure it. Just the perfect soft, just perfect. I think perfect cookies. Oh, see you, Cosmic Variant. You gonna head to town? Oh, well, you probably gone now, but peace out, man. Do you notice a difference in the way African Americans carry themselves versus Africans in Czech? No. I usually can't. Now, probably because I've been away from, probably more because I've been away from African Americans so long. But in the beginning I could, but now I can't. When I first came here, I could usually immediately tell because African Americans carry themselves with this sense of like, something's not good enough. Whereas Africans don't seem to have. I'm not trying to say Africans like fucked up and poor and all that, but Africans tend to be more loving and accepting, and it's something I'm actually quite jealous of. I'm actually quite envious of it. How just loving and accepting every person, generally speaking, from Africa I ever met was just. They had this next level sense of just loving and caring that I just don't have. Acceptance, loving and caring. Or maybe just showing it that I just don't have. When I first came here, it was much more clear. But now I think now the reason why I don't see it so much is because by the time I do meet an African American, it's because they're with a Czech spouse. So I think that kind of like, I think that's adding to, taking them out of the typical African American situation. I think that's probably why. That's probably why I can't see it anymore. By the time I meet an African American, they're usually with a Czech spouse or a European spouse. So it's like they've already like kind of like learned and moved into like this format outside of the American format of it. So I think that's why. I can't now. So now I can't tell for the most part, unless they're like, like black as fuck. I can't tell. Unless they're black as fuck, or their thumb is like bigger than my shin. Because like I met some Africans, dude. Some of these Africans, like I remember one dude. His thumb was like the size of like two of my fingers, and he wasn't a fat dude. He was just a massive dude, right? And you knew immediately that motherfucker was not American. I would hope not to have to get into a fight with him. I mean, I would fight him, but I would desperately hope I wouldn't have to. Because that shit would hurt me. That motherfucker had more muscles in the first part of his thumb than I got in my whole forearm. That fight would not go too well for me. I'd do it. I would do it. Just for the, I would happily volunteer just for the data, but there's no chance of me winning that shit. Let's just be real about it. But yeah, no, the answer nowadays, no, now I can't notice. Like I said, by the time I come across anybody, I'm out of that tourist area. I don't hang around tourist areas much. So by the time I come across anybody, they're usually in the culture on some level. So like, you just don't know where anybody's from anymore. You don't know where here's the thing. In my walk of life, you don't know what language somebody can speak or where they're from anymore. I was just outside with a guy. He's from America. I think he's from he's a lawyer, and his wife's from South Africa. And we were just standing outside talking, probably about a month and a half ago. Not just, this was a little while ago. And he was from America. This is a white guy. He's an attorney. He's a real cool guy. And him and his wife go, because his wife is Czech, but they both go to South Africa for some reason a lot. And they bounce between here and South Africa. And we were standing outside, and there's this black guy in the building. I thought he was African. This black dude, kind of massive too, but he's always been real cool. We always talk, I don't think he speaks English that well, but I think he can like bullshit his way through it. But we always talk. I'll see him walking down the street, whatever. So this time, it was the black dude came down while I was talking to the white attorney guy, right? The black dude actually, I think he was born in Portugal or something. So this motherfucker speaks Spanish. And not only that, the attorney spoke Spanish. So these motherfuckers started conversating in Spanish. And me and the dude's wife are talking like, hey, dude, you never know what language people will know. Like, I had no idea your husband spoke Spanish. Like, he didn't know. And I had no idea the black dude spoke Spanish, right? I had no idea. I would have never guessed he spoke. So these motherfuckers hold a whole conversation in Spanish, and me and his wife are talking in English. She's Czech, so she speaks Czech. The thing is, in this location, especially in Prague, you will never know what languages people know, what they don't know. You just can't tell by looking at them. You can't. It's impossible. You won't be able to tell. Now, in America, you generally know everybody's only going to speak English. In a place like the U.S., I say most of the UK, you're only going to speak English. You're not going to speak, fluently many of you. It's not a super common thing to come across. But here, you just never know. Some people can understand I got another neighbor. Her name's Petra. I've always loved Petra. I always thought she was great. And the weird part about my building is I would always see like a woman, and then I would always see like a guy, and I would talk to both of them independently, but I would never know that they were together until I would bump into them while they were together, right? So I would always see Petra and her husband, but I never knew they were together. And I seen them like that for years and never knew they were married, right? And Petra's from Moravia, the south part of Czech Republic. So early in Czech Republic's history, it didn't used to be called Czech Republic. It was Bohemia and Moravia. It wasn't Czech Republic, earlier in history. But that's another topic. So Petra can understand everything I say in English, but she can't reply. If I talk to her in English, she knows everything I'm saying. because she's met my spouse, because we all have talked, in person. So like she's made it clear. No, I understand everything you say. I just I can't reply back in English. She just can't. And I'm kind of there with Czech with her. Like I can understand what she says, but depending on the day, like I cannot converse with her in Czech. It just depends on the day. Some days I can in a shitty way, because then on top of that, she's from Moravia, so like just like anywhere on earth, she's from southeastern Czech Republic, and they have their own dialect or their own slang of words. So like I've noticed that I can't, like, the reason why it's harder for me to speak with Petra is because she has that Moravian slang mixed in, and I think a bit of an accent. So I think that's why it's so much harder for me to understand her versus most other Czechs that I come across in the building, is because I think she has an accent and I just can't follow it. But that's life, man. These are the beautiful parts that you just, I mean, there's bad parts too about this shit. Don't get me wrong, but these are the beautiful parts about traveling and living and experiencing shit. AD, explain how we in America look at sex as a thing we need to hide and keep secret, but in Bogota, they have people who can just hang out in a brothel and massage parlors and talk to sex workers. Yeah, the U.S. definitely has, America definitely, sex, it's weird. Okay, this is just off the top of my head, off of drinking $2 wine. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking about how the realities of America and religion. Because most Americans are not religious. It's a hobby. Religion is a hobby for most North Americans, at best. Whether they want to realize it or not, it's a hobby. But I think that hobby leads to a perversion of rule sets. Just like how IKEA or like luxury in Czech Republic leads to a perversion of luxury of the perception of their people, right? Like it's not their home. Like religion, North America, religion is not our home in the U.S. It's not really our home. What we want to think it is, right? So with that comes the extremist of rule sets and laws and regulations, right? And sex has always been at somewhere near the top of that, right? So with that extremist mindset comes the whole, oh, you shouldn't talk about sex out loud, sex is this forbidden thing, blah, blah, blah. Whereas like, see, these countries based off of America's history who grew up with that, they've already moved past all of that. They've moved past all of that. When I first came to Czech Republic, I remember you can go to a gas station and see like topless magazines in gas stations. They weren't blocked off. You can see them just go paying for gas. It'd be a topless bitch on a magazine in a gas station. They didn't block it off. It wasn't this taboo thing. Right? Whereas in America, you would never see that in a gas. If you see, if a gas station had done that in North America, it'd be on the news that night. And people be appalled because everybody's trying to live up to religion of what's right and what's wrong. See, out here, they're not trying to live up to it because it was already part of their history. But in America, we're trying to live up to it. Same situation, how let's say like a thug from New York City makes like a rap song talking about how he's a thug and sells it to somebody in Dayton, Ohio. Well, see, the Dayton, Ohio thug now feels like he has to live up to the New Yorker's thug mentality. And a Dayton, Ohio thug will be more dangerous in reality because they're living in an extreme mentality of trying to live up to what they heard on a recording. See, that recording is not that Dayton, Ohio's that recording is not the Ohioans' norm, right? That recording is the New Yorker, and it's not even a New Yorker's norm. They're just talking about extremes, and for the most part. But see, by the time the Ohioan got their hands on it, they're taking it to the extreme. I got to be a thug. I got to be harder. I got to be less caring. I got to be harder, brutal, rougher, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. See, that Ohio person has to be tougher because they're getting that methodology only from the extremes of the person who actually grew up like that. So in reality, see, it's those guys in the suburbs that you got to worry about more in reality, because they trying to live up to something, right? Those guys, in many cases, can be more unpredictable and dangerous because they're not working off of any real logic, right? It's the same way with sex in this context in religion, right? In North America, religion is a hobby, right? It's not our home as Americans. It's a hobby, and many Americans can't really see it or realize it. But see, the fact that 100 years is a long time in North America explains the total gist of it. See, 100 years in Europe is nothing. That's like they see that as nothing. But 100 years to an American is a long time. That's a whole nother history book, right? So with that comes perverting a perversion of rules and theories and logics and religions, right? So with that perversion comes this whole, like a woman is divine, a woman is this and yeah, because just like our ancestors said, the woman is divine. Well, the ancestors never gave a fuck about the women, dude. They never did. They made fun of bitches, right? Well, not only you gotta agree with me, it's a fact. They made fun of they were known as being fat and cowardly in Greek history. Let's look it up real fast. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they've already what is this? .edu, so this is probably gonna be, yeah. Today's fear and loathing of fat bodies rooted in ancient Western civilization. Okay, nah, yeah, this is some American dude who wrote this, because this part just killed all validity in it right here. Western civilization. This part killed all of it to make it clear that he's trying to look good for feminists. No. It was known that women were like they would get roasted, dude, like hardcore. Yeah, and Google's probably gonna filter this shit out nowadays, but yeah. So that whole sex situation, like Americans are so fucking, and I'm willing to bet Australia is probably not too far off. Australia is probably about in the same boat because it has the same circumstances. They're just miles away from anything else. So if I had to guess, Australia is probably dealing with the same or worse situation that America's dealing with, but they're both in the same boat. Of being able to glorify women and women getting away with. See, out here, like, I mean, every woman can be glorified, but like the women out here cannot get away with that shit, dude. Out here, I told my girl, look, and she's probably mad at me for talking about this, but I want her to make an Instagram and make a YouTube channel and all that shit. We just had a conversation this morning because she just made a Patreon. Right. She just made a Patreon, and she wants me to help her to fix, which I understand that because I didn't know how to make Patreon when I first made it. Somebody walked me through it. Actually, an Australian guy walked me through it. How to make Patreons. I didn't know how to do it. I was scared of it. And I told her, look, I said, look, you are a white woman. All you got to do is just smile and walk. And motherfuckers will hand you money, right? Because you are a white. You sell that you are a white. I talk literally. These are the conversations we have. Look, I tell her, you are a white European woman. There is tons of dudes in fucking Missouri, lonely white dudes who will lick the ground you walk on because you are a white European woman who just looks like you know how to take a bath and have brushed hair, right? And she goes, no, I want to be known for something. I want to be known for something. I don't want to be known just for... I'm like, okay, cool, but you are a white woman. You work that benefit. All right? Work that benefit. You are a white European. There is nothing more valuable on earth right now than a healthy white European woman. Full stop. Or for Americans, period. There is nothing more valuable than that on the world, in the world. All she gotta do is smile. Cause I showed her this one bitch who just, cause when we had the conversation, let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna find it in my messenger. Cause I sent her a link to this woman as an example of, look, this is all you gotta do is just be a white woman and just walk around in a dress and brush your hair. I got the link right here. Okay, here it is. I got it right here. I'm gonna show you right now. Her Instagram. I showed her this link and said, look, this is all you gotta do. Look, this bitch teeth is rotting out and she got space in it, but she's a white European woman. That's all you need. This is what I sent her right here. All you gotta do is be a white woman. Can you see that? Watch I get copyrighted for this shit too, but fuck it.
To focus on me.
Hang on.
What is my age? Age doesn't matter. It changes fast. No point to focus on me. What is my age? Age doesn't matter. It changes fast. No point to focus on me.
This bitch can't even speak English. Her teeth, look at her teeth. You know what I mean? She got gray hair. Look, she look like she can maintain her body. She can figure out how to turn on a goddamn shower. You know what I mean? And she got brushed hair. That's all it, and just be a white woman, dude. That's all. This is what I told her literally earlier today, this morning. This is what I told her. You just got to be a white woman and just be from Europe with an accent. And let's look at this woman's channel. This bitch got like 250,000 followers. Look at this shit. Look at this. This bitch got a quarter. This bitch got a 250,000 followers. Just because she a woman who can take a bath. And that's what I told my girl this morning. I said, look, that's all you got. Oh, look, this is what she be. Oh, it ain't gonna let me click on it. But you guys can go in there. It's not gonna let me click on her actual. Why is it not letting me do it? Did it let me do it before? She just hand you some damn food. That's the whole fucking. That's her whole channel. Just hand you a fucking dessert. This is it. This bitch don't know nothing. She just holding a fucking dessert. All you gotta do is you don't gotta be smart. You don't have to be smart. You don't gotta be intelligent. Just be a white woman from Europe and look like you can brush your hair and take a bath and don't be morbidly obese. And you could probably be morbidly obese. And somebody you know how many pathetic motherfuckers will send you money just because you're a European woman. Look at Ukraine. These fucking dildo faggots was quitting their jobs and flying to Ukraine to fight for Ukraine because they thought they was gonna get some Ukrainian pussy. You remember all them stories? Let's look that up, man. Ukraine too. Where was it? I mean, here's a whole skit. Well, I'm gonna copy. This is CBS. I'm not gonna play it because CBS. I know they gonna slam my asshole.
The number of international.
I know they gonna fuck me in the ass for doing this. But yeah, Americans, the lonely ass, pathetic ass American men was shutting up shop back at home to go fly to Ukraine to go fight a war, thinking they was gonna get some Ukrainian pussy. Dumb bitches. All you gotta do is be a white woman. That's all you look. I mean, look. If I was a white woman on Earth, dude, I would be a billionaire. right off the top. There's no question about it. That's the easiest position you got in life. Just be a white woman who can take a bath, don't be a cunt, and smile. That's it. That's all you gotta do. And half of them could be a cunt. Don't even matter. It's not gonna let me. I don't know why it's not letting me. But all she do is just be like, yeah, today we're having yogurt, and just hands it to the fucking camera. That's all she does. Just don't be ugly. Don't be fat. Brush your damn hair, and that's all you gotta do. She got gray hair, cause here's the other part. See, a lot of women, they get mad, be like, oh, because men don't like gray hair. Men don't give a fuck about gray hair, dude. I mean, some men might at some point, but if the woman is just clean and put together, men don't care about gray hair like that. It's not, men, gray hair is not like, you know what I mean? As long as she can take care of her body, gray hair is not a fucking, I mean, what am I looking for? A ultimate deciding factor in talking to her or not talking to her. If she got her body together and she's healthy and clean, she gonna have somebody hovering around her pussy. It be the women who done gained 300 pounds almost, oh, it's my gray hair. No, bitch, it ain't your gray hair. It's that 350 pounds you put on. It's too many women. I remember I got into a conversation, and my girl, she got mad at me for this, right? I got into a conversation with a woman on Facebook because it was this long conversation. This was about a year ago. It was this long conversation about men not liking women with gray hair, right? And I showed it to my spouse. I said, look, now, because I told her, I gave her the whole context. I said, see, men don't care about women having gray hair. Men care about, does she look like she gave a fuck about her body or not? Right? That's what men care about. To a point. Now, if the guy wants kids, yeah, then I see all that. But, you know, when it comes to just fucking, when it comes to just busting a nut or looking at a woman and say, oh my God, like she's like, I'd fuck the shit out of her kind of thing. Like, man, look, the last thing you gave much focus, and in this, I'm looking at play back up here. The last thing you gave much focus to was this bitch's gray hair, where she's holding them fucking sticks up in the third picture. I looked at her tits and her legs immediately, right, and the fact that she's smiling, even with her teeth looking like that. Right? It is what it is, right? So anyway, back to the Facebook conversation. I said it's the weight is what does it. The weight is what kills women in this. It's not the gray hair, it's the weight. Right? So I went down a conversation because of course I got destroyed in the comment section for saying it's not the gray hair. I went down every woman's picture in the profiles, and all of them were like pictures from like here and up, or they was like down lower. You can see they was like horrifically fat. And you know what my spouse, you know what she said to me? She goes, "That's mean." Like, why is that mean? I literally proved my point. The only women blaming gray hair as being a problem is the women who gained 300 pounds. That's the only women who blame gray hair. It's not the gray hair. It's being 300 pounds with gray hair is the problem. Beast says, I just got done with court and can't wait to get to the Balkans fast enough. Any advice on how to find a place in Prague, for example? I'm waiting for my place to get in Batumi. I don't know where that is. Okay. But anyway, to answer your question, to find a place in Prague, rent in Prague has gotten a bit crazy because inflation just kind of hit everywhere. But I would tell you this. There are some scams that's going around in Prague, and I tell you the ones that I know of that I've heard just through word of mouth to look out for. One big scam, and I got into a long conversation on Facebook about this, calling out the scam, was many people are asking for like 6 months of rent payment in advance or something crazy like that. I say, yeah, this is a complete scam. Don't do that. Anybody asking for some crazy amount, some crazy deposit or something like that, like if anybody's asking for an application fee, don't do it. If anybody's asking for any deposit that's any more than like I would say like double the rent, maximum. But even then, I would say don't do it because the way the Czech court system is it'd be a waste of time for you even taking them to court about it because you'd spend so much money it wouldn't even be worth it. You'd end up losing anyway. So if you ever rented a place before or found a flat, you know whatever rules that you follow there, you know the scams. Same thing here. Don't give anybody any money. Hell, it gets to the point. Don't even talk to anybody. Don't hand over any money nowadays, unless you have friends who know the people, or let's say that you know me and I had my friends talk to them and they said they were cool. They were Czechs and they were cool. That kind of thing. But if you're a foreigner and you're here as a foreigner and you don't know anybody, you don't have any friends, don't do any. The second you feel like something ain't right, don't do it. Period. Don't do it. Because it's a lot of scams going on. Because so many people are broke now. There's been so many layoffs. Layoffs weren't just happening in North America. Layoffs were happening here too. So many jobs. Actually, one friend of mine, he had just hired me at this job, and I ended up not taking it because we became friends. Well, he lost his job because they relocated the whole company to like Venezuela or something like that, and he was an American guy, and he lost his job, and this was like 2 months before COVID happened. He lost his job. They relocated the company. He was unemployed. And I seen him on Facebook a couple times, and he's been struggling. He got 3 kids now with a Czech woman, and he's been struggling. They living in a flat smaller than mine with 3 kids. I showed it to my girl because he commented on a Facebook post. He's living. I think he said his flat's like a 40 square meter flat. This flat is like a 60 square meter flat, and we got 1 kid. He's living there with twins and a daughter and a wife in a flat that's smaller than this flat. He's struggling right now. Back to your question. I tell you, man, look, just the second you feel like something ain't right, email me, write me, call me, whatever. I've had people call me before from YouTube. We came here trying to do it. Call me and run it past me, and I'll tell you what my thought is, and then I'll go ask my friends, does this sound right? Because here's the thing, when I came here before COVID. I came here before all of that. And on top of that, I had friends. I'm good at making friends pretty quick, like loyal friends. Because like I said, brothels, prostitution, drugs, these lifestyles lead you to like figure out who's, grounded in reality and who's not, right? So I've always been good at making friends because of the worlds that I already know. So the odds of me getting screwed, I'm not going to say I'm impervious to getting screwed over, because it's always possible, but I say the odds are going to be pretty low that I do, because I just know too many people in too many areas to ask, at some point what to do. But for your perspective, let's say if you just, maybe you might get, whatever, you just don't want to talk to me. The advice I have for you is the second that you feel like something ain't sounding right in Czech Republic, don't do it, because they laws here don't work like laws in North America. See, in North America, you fuck around and they do something like that, you can take them to court and do something. See, here, the part that Czechs don't understand is, see all the stereotypes that Czech have about like poor Africa, poor all these countries, the Czechs are literally the same shit. Like they move the same way. They really do. With screwing people over, stealing money, all this, there's no difference from them and the niggers 500 miles south from their perspective, right? There's no difference. The only difference is they're white and they're being funded by the European Union. That's the only difference. They're doing the same shit. So when it comes to like these scams and stealing money, the money's gone. Just forget it. Courts ain't gonna do nothing. So again, I would say you look, just run it past me, or maybe you may have some other check, or maybe you may have contacts here. Run it past them. Ask them, is this right? You could go to a legal office, but you have to pay them like 1,500 crowns, about $70. But they'll tell you. You can go ask a lawyer, and they'll tell. But you got to pay them. But they'll tell. But they're usually pretty righteous. The lawyers here, they're usually pretty right. I've never come across a lawyer who wasn't righteous. But they'll charge you. Yeah, I gotta pee. I'm gonna take a bathroom break. I'm gonna leave it up because I gotta take a bathroom break. I don't want people to think I've turned off the stream. I'm gonna go take a bathroom break. I'm gonna put it on mute and I'll be right back. All right. Delonte, what's up, Delonte Tucker? What's up, man? Yo, AD, did you see that chart that chick Liz Wheeler made on Twitter saying men that play video games are the most unattractive thing to women? No, I've never seen that. I spent all day playing Dishonored 1. That's great. That's great. Hey, I mean, hey, if it's unattractive to her, that's cool. Kevin, do you think a man should still allow his woman to work after they have a kid, or make her a full-time stay-at-home mom if money wasn't a problem? Okay, so my spouse is going to work now. I always wanted her to work a part-time job, even if we had kids or whatever. I don't want my spouse to be a stay-at-home mom. That's one thing I never wanted for her. But luckily, I'm in a position where I can be a stay-at-home dad if it calls for it, right? Because of my professions, I can do it. What I don't want is for her to be a full-time. I don't think women should ever work full-time. I don't think they're made for it. I don't think they're cut out for it. The only reason why it's even been allowed is because of modern technology. If it wasn't for modern technology, it wouldn't even be allowed now. You know, air conditioning, telephones, shit like that. If it wasn't for these jobs, like most women full-time jobs just wouldn't even exist right now, right? That they could actually legitimately handle. And it's just a fact. It's literally a historical fact. The vast majority of women just would not be working full-time if it wasn't for modern technology that was invented by men, right? But yeah, no, my spouse, she goes to work now. She goes to work a couple days a week, making flowers. Yeah, actually, let me show you a flower that she just brought home a few days ago. Because I wanted this flower for about the last couple months. Because I would walk her to work with my son. And I would take my son, because she would go to work and I would walk off with him in the city. And there was this one plant I always wanted. I'm gonna go grab it because it looks really different. I'm gonna go grab it. It's in the other room. Yes, because it didn't bloom yet when I seen it. Because I would take her to work, and I would look at all the plants, right? And it didn't bloom yet when I had first seen it. It was still like small and like up. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it didn't. And I said, out of all the plants that they had in there, this was the one that I wanted. And she gets like a half off discount, so it was like $3 or something like that, you know. But I seen this and I was like, oh yeah, I like that one. I'll take that one. And I got a coffee plant in there because like she brings home, you know, a bunch of shit, you know. But this was the last one that she brought, and I really like this one. I think it's gonna grow like a banana tree. Like you got to dig out the pups and then like plant those. I really should water it because I haven't watered it since it's been here, and it's been here about a week and a half now. I just thought about it. Oh yeah, and the top leaves are starting to get like kind of crusty. Yeah, I'm gonna water it now actually, or tonight. But I don't know what the name of it is. But when I seen it, I immediately liked it. I said, yeah, I want that one. I want one of those. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, there's the price right there, 150 Czech crowns. So she gets it for like half off. So she got up like 70 crowns. It was like $3. But yeah, they'll write the price like right there. But yeah, this is my new addition. Well, one of my new additions. I'd go get another plant if anybody like asks me. Well, it's in water right now. I gotta plant it. But if anybody cares, just write in the comments. I'll grab another one if anybody cares to see it. I have a Bachira growing. I just brought that back. It was almost dead, and I brought that back to life. I got a plant up there. I really got to move that because it just grew too well, and now it's like leaning over. I really got to fix that, and I just keep putting it off. Oliver Biscuit, speaking of AD on this topic, I've been meaning to email you about this, but I'd love to pay you for your time if we could it's down for an hour or two. Yeah, just write me, man. Write me. It may like if you catch me at a wrong time, it may take a day or two to get back because baby life. I'm going out teaching now, talking to people and shit. So it may take like a day for me to get back to you, but I'm definitely gonna get back to you. But yeah, man. I'm trying to think of something else I've done. Did I ever show you guys when I made a knife? That shit was hard too. It's in the other room somewhere. If anybody cares, just write in the comment section you want to see it. But doing that fucking, what's that shit called? Blacksmithing. Blacksmithing can be rough as fuck. But advice, yeah, any advice to find a place in Prague, go on, hang on, let's look it up right here. Let's, hang on. So you guys can see the internet again. And, so I'll show you the website you want to look at. This is a good website you want to look at. Sesnam.cz. This is, oh, and I gotta find how you actually find, the flats. Or S Realty is good too. This is good too. This is a good site. So they're always gonna show like the expensive shit first. So you gotta just filter it out. Okay, so the hard part as an American is to get this KK part down. This would always confuse the fuck out of me. I'm still confused by it, to be honest. I still don't fully get it. This is a 2KK, because I think technically a KK is like a room, but some flat, like a studio would be like 1KK, because a studio would be like technically a room with a kitchen in that room. So it's kind of weird. Let me do this. Let's do this. Let's do KT. Yeah, let's just do it in Czech, because I don't understand the English translation of it. Let's do Prague. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all of Prague. So far there's 800 flats available. Let's see if I can find a good one right now. Let's change this to English now because I can't read this shit. Oh, Visocani? That's where I used to live. That's where I started out living, in Visocani. This one right here. This one. So they want 12,000. So 12,000 Czech crowns is probably about $500 a month for this. This is a 2KK. It's smaller. This flat will be smaller than mine. Yeah, it doesn't have a bath. It's just a shower, which I don't have a problem. Personally, I'm fine with just a shower. But it doesn't have any furniture. That's the bad part. Like, my flat came with furniture. This doesn't have any furniture. It's completely empty. And it's in Visocani, so it's like in like a rougher looking area. Visocani is just not a nice area. But for 12, I mean, I would live there for 12K a month. I wouldn't care. I'm not a picky person at all when it comes to where I'm going to sleep. As long as there's no gunshots or, some shit like that going on, I'm fine. I'm trying to see. Shotgun Office Pub. Yeah, so everything's in walking distance. There's shops, candy shops, animal doctor nearby. That's what all this says right here. Movies not far. Tram. There's always gonna be a tram. ATM school. What I'm looking for is total price 12K. Ownership they're all gonna be personal. It's on the 3rd floor. Garden area. Moving date. It's not they say right here it's not furnished. But I'm trying to see is does this include electricity? Which I don't think it would. This is a little too low to Visocani's not a alluring area, so it's probably not going to include electricity. But even then, dude, I would live there. I wouldn't care. I think that's fine. Let's see, is Prague Zličín. Oh yeah, Zličín. That's where I go to the mall with my son at. I take him out here. Zličín is a good area. This is a nice area. You can't find a bad area in Zličín. Like, I literally go out here probably about once a month in Zličín in the area, and this is furnished too. So this is furnished for $40 more. This flat's furnished, but it's further from the center of Prague. But you're literally on the Zličín is the last stop on the underground trains. It's literally like the last stop, because I take my son there about once a month to walk around to the mall, walk around at the mall out there. It's a weirdly small flat. So this is like a bunk bed situation right here. It's a weirdly small flat. The bedroom was what? Yeah, like, see, all this is like weirdly small. It's like weird, very weirdly compact. Yeah, this is what like freaks me the hell out. I don't like bunk bed shit personally. I can't do bunk beds. What's this? I can never remember where Prague 9 is. And Prague 10 is far out. It's another one in Visocani. This is good. But it has no furniture. This is a weird open space. That's a weird looking open space. So where's the other room? I don't think it has another room. I think it's just the one big space. Oh, you have a big balcony. That's cool. They want $1,400 for this, $14,000 for this. It's partially furnished. It has no elevator. What floor is it on? See right here at the bottom. has no elevator. It's a little smaller than my flat. Well, what floor does it say? What floor it's on? Oh, it's on the it's on the second floor, so that's not bad. This is one floor up, but it doesn't have an elevator. But it's just one floor, so that's not bad. That's cool. So once you get into the culture, man, one hard thing that one brutal thing to realize is that, see, when these people are renting out flats, a lot of times, see, okay, so every country has their way of like developing wealth, right? And here's the thing about wealth is that the numbers of wealth always stay the same. The percentages are always the same, right? Whether it's North America, Czech Republic, it's Nigeria, whatever the fuck. The percentages generally kind of stay the same, right? Because people are just people, right? And they're going to do what they do. So in Czech Republic's history, statistically speaking, all these flats that you're going to see that were rented out to people that are for rent, these owners, statistically speaking, got these flats for free after communism, and these flats were passed down through generation and generation of their families, right? And that's the part that hurts. Once you know how their culture, how their history was, and how they move, it hurts. Like, it's hard to really like accept it as an outsider. But if you were in their culture, I'm sure it doesn't hurt that bad. But knowing that hurts. Oh, Holosevitze, that's where the brothel's at. Prague 7, Holosevitze. That's where Show Park's at. So this should be much nicer because that area is gentrified. So this whole area should be a little, oof. Is that the shower in the kitchen? Oh no. They did something. They hired the wrong Ukrainians to build that shit up. That's gross. I can say no, don't take that. Holosevitze is gentrified. This area, this is where the brothel is. This is where Show Park is. It's in Holosevitze. But no, don't take this. They hired all the wrong Ukrainians to build. This is a studio apartment, bro. And it's not even like, what the fuck is that? Is that wilderness? Yeah, y'all tripping for this. Oh, this is outside the flat. This isn't inside the flat. Yeah. Oh, I know exactly where this is. I can show you on Google Maps where this is. Because this is where you drive. Yeah, I used to drive down there. I know that gas. I used to know a girl in that gas station. Her name was Barbara. She used to work in that gas station. I know because exactly. Because if you go left, that's going towards Palladium. I know exactly where this is. Yeah, that's about the best looking picture in all this. Oh, it's a video too? No. No, I'm cool. Yeah, y'all drunk. I'm drinking $2 wine. I'm calling y'all drunk for this. Nope. I'm alright. I'll pay you $50 to keep this out of my search. They try to play pleasant music on top of it too. It ain't that bad. No. I'm not. Look. Hold on. Let's go back out. I'm not getting ready to climb a ladder. You see that ladder? I'm not getting ready to climb a ladder when I get sleepy. I'm not a firefighter. I'm not getting ready to climb a ladder when I get I'm getting sleepy. Better go climb this ladder. Press X. I get ready to press X. Hold A to... Get the fuck out of here. You motherfucker. Hell no. See, no. Absolutely not. Keep that. No. That's a nice picture right there. This is a nice picture too. That kitchen, that's about where it stops. You got the shower in the same. No, hell, no, just no. Then the steaming came out, and y'all don't be doing airflow like that. So now all the hot air, no. I would keep it as a side flat, like another place I could go. I would keep it like that. Look, I am not getting ready to. Oh, well, it's technically not a ladder. It's stairs. Let's be fair. It's stairs. I exaggerated a bit. But I'm not getting ready. I'm not getting ready to go up there and relax and go to sleep. Because, look, let me tell you something. I've seen Czech engineering. I've seen European engineering. And I would not trust going up there sleeping. Period. I'm not trusting that shit. This bed right here, I went through hell for other reasons trying to fix this bed because the engineering over here is just not up to par. Now, they do use bricks to make their buildings, which I'll give them that. But when it comes to like little engineering thing, no, I don't trust you. The reason why this bed kept breaking for it was literally a $3 problem that I had to go travel like 30 minutes one way to go buy the parts to fix. Just to get these little brackets to drill in. Because their engineering is just not up to par. Europe's engineering is, outside of Germany where you're going to pay top dollar for it, is pathetic. I would not trust it. There is no way, and I mean this out of all love, I would never trust going up there going to sleep, period. I'm not going up there to go to sleep. Let alone having sex with some weight differential happening, some motherfuckers moving, getting... No, I'm not trusting that shit, period. It's not happening. I'm not trusting it. Because I've seen their engineering. I see how they be putting shit together. I'm not No, I'm not sleeping up there. It's not happening. I'd rather sleep on the floor. I've seen what they put together. That ain't it. All right. This bed. I had to fix this bed by myself. Because I had to but the way I had to do it, it was pretty rough because she was watching the baby, so I had to just do it by myself. I had to put books in place to crop shit up and push shit back. The engineering is just not, no. Engineering is just not, outside of Germany, maybe, what's the country I'm thinking of? It keeps slipping out of my brain the last minute. There's another country that's good with engineering too, but outside of these two, Europe is just not good with engineering on a whole. I would not trust this. Period. I just would not trust it. This doesn't look bad. What's this? Which part of Prague is this in? It's Prague 10. Oh, so Prague 10 is kind of far out. That's why it's a good price. Because Prague 10 is far from the center. And it's just a big ass studio, looks like. It's still that tight. Yeah, everything in here is still tight. See, the fact that they thought this was a good picture to put on. See, pictures like this is why Westerners be thinking Czech Republic is like poor. Because you thought it was a good idea to put a picture like this on the internet when you trying to sell this shit. You looked at this shit and was like, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to put that on the internet and sell this. See? But if you try to tell them, they going to get mad at you for telling them this shit. They going to get mad at you for telling them. This is why Czech Republic will never ever be accepted by Germany on a whole. Because if you try to tell them, look at this picture, does this make sense to you? Does that make you want to buy this shit? No. But if you try to tell them, they're going to get mad. So it's like, well, what can you, all you got to do is let them say dumb as fuck. Well, you know, the motherfucker who thought it was a good idea to put this picture on the internet. What about this was a good, who was the real, Jan Holitsky. And this motherfucker got a master's. This motherfucker got an MBA. This motherfucker got a master's. I want to call him right now. It's 10. If it wasn't 10:30, I would call him right now. I say, look, man, this ain't it. I don't even want to rent the flat. I just want to tell you this ain't it. Look, you gotta check the profile or something. Did you see that picture, Jan Holitsky? This motherfucker put NBA in his contact name profile and put a picture up here like this, trying to rent a flat. See, this is what I be getting at with the education system and the quality of standards and quality of See, now you see, I'm not just making this shit up. Because I don't know this motherfucker. I didn't call him and tell him to make this account real quick. I just randomly started looking up flats. See, now you see, I'm not just bullshitting you on quality and shit. See, this is the mentality, is what I'm getting at. Now, the rest of the flat looks all right. They don't look bad. Now, the reason why it's so cheap is because it's in Prague 10. Prague 10 is far from the center. The rest of the flat don't look bad for Czech Republic. It is not bad. I would live here. I wouldn't have a problem with living here. That's a tiny ass balcony. But the rest of the flat is, and it's furnished. You got a bed when you move in there. You got, you know, I don't know if they're gonna leave a TV in there and all that, but you got all the furniture in there. I don't think they're gonna take all that out. That's a kind of gross looking bathroom, but I mean, my bathroom looks gross. That's just because you here. You know, it's where you are. See, motherfuckers in America will see this bathroom and be like, no. And then they got the hot water heater sitting up there in the top right there. See, in America, these standards wouldn't, you would never ever sell this shit to a Westerner. Like, you would never happily sell this shit to a Westerner who wasn't seeing something else in it. Right? To a Westerner who had sense about it, you would never sell this shit ever. Unless they just needed a flat kind of thing. Oh. Look at the wall. Like, you take a shit, dude, and your forehead is on the wall. Look at that. You made a toilet like that. Like, you thought it was a good idea to make it. Not Jan. This isn't Jan's flat. This is somebody else's flat. But you thought it was a good idea to make a toilet like. See, this is the shit I'm talking about. See, this is the quality assurance that I'm talking about. See, and Americans would look. If you didn't sell it as being part of Europe, every American would roast the fuck out of this if you didn't type in Europe after it. But the fact that if you put Europe before this or after it, then Americans like, oh, it's European. But if you didn't type Europe before or after it, motherfuckers will roast the fuck. If you would have shown this flat, all these pictures to an American and said this was in Africa, or said this was in Azerbaijan or whatever the fuck that shit is, if you had said this was in Pakistan, Americans would have roasted the fuck out of you. But see, this is that white privilege. The fact that motherfuckers know this is Europe, somebody looked at that and was like, yeah, that's all right, because it's Europe. Be fucking real. Don't pull any punches. Any white person watching this, don't pull any punches. Be honest about it. The fact that this shit had Europe written before it, it was like, oh, that might be all right. But if this shit had been in fucking Zimbabwe, motherfuckers this shit would have became a new meme. This is pathetic. The craftsmanship, and then they even painted a fake brick wall behind it. They painted a fake brick wall behind it to make it blend in so you wouldn't notice. That's gross. And what the fuck is this? Man, ain't no telling what spider's hiding in that box up there. Man, what the fuck? And this shit ain't even painted smooth. Look at that. Look at this paint job from the box. Like, this is horrible. This is terrible. But they got that IKEA light up in the top. They got that IKEA light up there. It's an IKEA light. No, dude, just stop. No. And see, this is why Czech people be wondering why Germany don't be letting them in like that, and they don't be understanding why. See, that's why. You be wondering why Americans and Germany and the British be looking down on you and shit, and you don't be knowing why don't be letting you in like that, and be wondering why the world always be looking down on Czech people. See, that's why. But if I try to tell you, you don't get mad. Right, you don't get mad at me. Look, you done took a picture of the flat with a damn water, with a used water bottle sitting next to the bed. What you just get done quenching your thirst and then take a picture of the damn flat? You just quenched your thirst with this water bottle sitting right here. See, this is why y'all be getting roasted. What the fuck? It's a picture of a fucking, what is it, a lion on top of the bed? See, the more I look at this shit, the worse this shit starts to get. See, this is why they be getting roasted, man. But you can't tell them. What the fuck? Would you... Okay. Anybody watching right now, all 26 people watching, if you were to see this toilet, would you feel comfortable taking a bath in there knowing that a hot water heater right here is above your head holding about 30 gallons of water, of hot water, above your head that can fall at any moment? Does that make you feel comfortable at all? Right. This is the awkwardness I be trying to tell. I tell my spouse, I be telling my dad these stories. I tell people, look. See, there's a reason why they don't be letting Czechs in like that, and they be looking down on y'all like that. Cause you be doing shit like this. Stop doing this shit. Look, a motherfucker be look. Okay, you be better off selling this shit with no hot water and just tell motherfuckers to heat up water and putting a hot water heater above your goddamn head. You be better off doing that and just sell this European. We heat our water on the stove because we're European. You be better off doing that. See, this is why y'all be getting roasted. And these motherfuckers will show up with a bathroom look like that, thinking they better than the Africans. Oh, these are not Africa. And they'll show up with a bathroom look like, you know what I mean? It's being white. That's what's getting them away with this shit. It's the being white part. Cause you think cause you white, cause you better. No, dude, no, this is, look at this shit. It's pathetic. This is gross. But I better call that realtor. He took a picture of a dirty closet. What the fuck? Where is your brain at? These are the frustrations I be. See, it's shit like this that be make me think, well, maybe Hitler was right. That motherfucker might have been on to something. Maybe, I need to think. Maybe I need to listen to. Maybe Hitler wasn't all look, this motherfucker wasn't all the way wrong. Maybe he was on to something. When I see shit like, again, it's the package. Listen to me. It's the package. It's this. in combination with a motherfucker on on a legit Czech website with his whole name, and then had the nerve to emphasize that he has a master's degree, and then pulled up with some shit like this. It's the whole package, dude. Now, okay, maybe we just came across that one dude who just don't give a fuck. Okay. Like, I'm not gonna... But here's the thing. I've been living here for 8 years, dude. This is not out the norm. This is pretty normal. It's not out the norm. I've been here for 8 years. I get the fact that maybe he's just one dude who just don't give a fuck. And it happens everywhere you go. Maybe he just don't care. He's just one of those, he's just real cool. Wanted to show reality. Man, I get it. I get it. But again, I've been here for 8 years, and I've been not just in Prague. Right? I've lived outside of Prague. This is why they be getting roasted. See, this is why Germany came here and was like, yo, it's time to get exterminated, bro. Like, yo, it's that's fucked up to say. I don't mean, like, that was for comedy, shock value comedy, but like, see, once you've seen as much shit as somebody who's lived in Europe, right, and got to see this shit, you'd be like, yeah, Hitler probably wasn't all the way wrong. Like, I can see where he was coming from. Like, I'm not gonna say motherfuckers need to be exterminated, but I get it. Right? Like, I get it. But again, and that's not to say all Czech people are like that. Because Czech people know that their mentality's fucked up, especially when you talk to the ones who's left and come back. They know the mentality. It's no secret. But that's why they begin. That look. Oh, Cherny Most. I know what Cherny Most is. Yeah, see, this is just empty. This is just a big ass empty flat. No furniture. So you gotta buy your own furniture. And they want $1,400 a month, $14,000 a month for that. And Cherny Most is not the nicest area, so I wouldn't recommend Cherny Most for that price, unless you just needed a flat. Oh, that's nice. You don't see carpet like this in Czech Republic. Oh no, that's that cheap carpet that looks like American carpet. No, never mind. That's that cheap carpet that's made to look like American. That it's made to look like soft American carpet, but it's really cheap. Like, you know, Vietnamese. They sell that shit to Vietnamese shops and shit. You don't want that, because I've had that before. It's horrible. Okay, so this is down the street from me, as I live in Prague 5, Smíchov. You want $15K a month for this? Let's look at this one. Oh, that bed. See, this is. Look at that bed. Okay, to be fair, it comes with the flat. So let's give benefit. Let's give benefit. Let's give praise where it's due. It comes with the flat. It's free. But that bed looks like something Adolf Hitler slept on. That looks like something from the 1930s. This is the part that, I'm glad I even dove into this, right? Because this is the part that see, again, for people who've actually lived here and experienced and seen shit, we can talk about it because we know it's real. But like, when people who haven't lived here, they talk about this shit, they just come off as like Europe, like they come off as like severe racist and shit. No, I've lived here, I've seen this shit, right? See, beds like this, see, this is another reason why you be getting roasted by motherfuckers in the UK, and this is why Ali G be feeling comfortable coming here and making fun of you. Even though, now, I don't agree with Ali G and this Sacha Baron Cohen. I think it's a piece of shit for doing it. Like, especially on that level. Like, I would never make, if my channel was bigger, I wouldn't make a video. I wouldn't even do this, because I understand how media works and people can believe shit and take influence from it and all that. But I have a small channel, right? An insignificant channel. So I can do it. I see why Sacha Baron Cohen, in this context, I see why Sacha Baron Cohen comes here and just be making fun of y'all motherfuckers and be keeping all the money and running off. Right? Because you're still walking around with shit like this on the internet trying to sell it. What is this? Look at it. Look, I would have more respect for you if you just didn't even, if it was just an empty space. Or just put the mattress on the floor. I would have a little more respect. This shit, it looked like if I just sneeze wrong, the shit would just break apart. It look like, is it made out of balsa wood mixed with toothpicks? This shit looks horrible. This is terrible. And see, shit like, but see, they don't see it. And if you try to tell them, they get mad. They can't see it. This is horrible. No. And then look at this chair. See, for a while, IKEA was getting away with selling chairs like this in North America because it was being sold as, oh, it's European style. No, this is poor people style because they couldn't afford the materials to get full spinal support. Look how small that spinal, you ain't got no spinal support in this motherfucker. You have no back support. Like, this is not Euro style. This is broke boy style. You have no money to fucking pay for the extra fucking spinal support so I can just lay back. You can't just lay back in this motherfucker, right? It's cut off at the mid-say. It's cut off at your damn 8th rib and shit. You can't even lay back in this motherfucker. See, they could sell that shit to dumbass white bitches who just want to see Euro written on something. But the motherfuckers who know how shit functions, this is fucking pathetic. Just throw the goddamn chair out or use it as a goddamn stool, all right? I'm not sitting... Don't use this as a selling point for the flat. This is pathetic. And this is nice. I don't have a problem with this because I'm used to the style here. I don't have a problem with the kitchen, which is, it's still all just one big room. But, and this is modern for Czech Republic. This isn't bad for here. It's a shower. It's not bad. It's good. I've seen a lot worse. But yeah, it's just one big studio and a toilet. But yes, so this is a great example to show the frustrations I have as a spoiled North American. Like, at this point, I'd rather just build my own bed instead of sleep on that for too long. I'd rather just build my own. Now the furniture in my flat was mostly good. This bed had some problems, but the other room is solid as fuck. You can't even pick that much. Now, my landlord, he's a cool dude. And the furniture in here is mostly so heavy that you really can't move it with just one person. The bed in the other room, it's like a pull-out bed, but even it's a pull-out bed and you cannot move that shit, dude. It's like heavy as fuck. The furniture in here is mostly all solidly well-made shit to where, like, a German would come here and be like, yeah, that's good. Right? But I've seen some other places. This shit, you ain't gonna... No, you could sell this to a college student, some younger kid who doesn't know, right? Or some white bitch would just be like, oh, I'm in Europe now. You could sell it to a white bitch or a college student, but, like, to anybody else, no, you can't sell that shit to no grown-ass man. No chairs looking like that. You can't sell no chairs. Like, why would you even make a chair that look like that? What see, as a grown-ass man, you would look at that chair and be like, oh, these motherfuckers ain't got no money. Because they lacking materials to make a whole chair. Again, a white American bitch, be like, oh, that's Euro style. You know, a young college student, be like, oh, I'm in Europe now. But like a grown-ass man, no. You'd be like, no, get this shit out of here. I'm not sitting. I mean, I sit in it if it's just there, but that's not a selling point for the flat. Why that toilet got a long neck? Did the toilet have a long neck? Oh, it's probably the old one. Because this toilet is modern. It's probably the old place I was looking at. This is Vicious Channy too. Let's look at this one. See the actual flat. They didn't even put pictures of the actual flat in there. They just put the outside there. And they must have been so self-conscious. They didn't even put pictures of the actual flat. Show me 4 photos. Let's do this. They just put all pictures of outside and the park. What the flat look like, bro? Yo, what the flat? My man, what does the flat? Dana, a woman, Schmidova. Dana Schmidova. Yo, what does the? I'm gonna send her email right now. I'm gonna send her email right now. I'm gonna put my actual name here. I'm sending her email right now. Uh-oh. I gotta put my phone number. Okay. Just for the sake of the internet, I'm gonna block the phone number part. Just for the sake of the internet. Uh-oh. I gotta move this. Uh-oh. Okay, here we go. Just for the sake of the internet, I'm just gonna block. I really don't care who sees it, but you never know with the internet. What's my phone number? Oh, wow. She got like 2.5 stars, too. Well, you guys can see this. She has like 2.5 stars for a review. So, yeah, that makes it, yeah, that's probably her overall quality. Look at her star rating. She's got 3 reviews at 2.5 stars. Jesus Christ. So let's read this review from May. This is early this year. Google Translate. Let's do Google Translate. What did the review say for this for Dana? I really have no idea where the mistake happened, but we should have gone to see Miss Schmidova. Today we went to look at another apartment where we agreed with another broker from another real estate agency. There we also met Miss Schmidova from this real estate agency. So the owner obviously hired 2 brokers who obviously did not know each other. After confrontation, see this sentence right here, that's pretty on par for Europe. Communication is Europe's weak point by far. Just basic levels of communication. That's part of it. They just don't communicate at all very well. After confrontation with Schmidova, who was toxic towards us and chased us out, saying that we had absolutely nothing to do there, even though we tried to defend our tour, which we had on top of everything else, with someone else, I admitted that I want nothing to do with this office anymore. I had that. She didn't even apologize for her reckless behavior after that. I don't want to discourage anyone from visiting. Just keep an eye on it. Just make up your own mind. Again, this is Google Translator, so like you gotta know how to read Google Translator. Oh, there's a 5-star at the bottom, which is probably, if I had to guess, it's probably from her, but let's look this up. 1 star. If I had a choice, I wouldn't give any stars to Ms. Schmidova. Unprofessional behavior towards those interested in housing. She is not able to keep the agreed date for the inspection of the apartment. She prefers not to call, let alone apologize to the interested party for the reason she did not keep the agreement with the client. Avoid this lady. Yeah. And again, that's normal for Europe and in communication. That's nothing too shocking. When it comes to communication, just expect the worst. They are simply professional. When I found out what kind of people they are, I thank the one above. I was lucky enough to meet them. Okay, yeah, see, this makes it very clear that this is not a Czech person. Generally speaking, the reason why I say that is because most Czechs are not religious, and to thank the one above is like saying thank God. And the Czech Republic is one of the most atheist countries on earth. So 40% consider themselves atheist. 30 to 40% are considered Roman Catholics, which, yeah, they just kind of say that shit. The Czech Republic is pretty much completely atheist. Here's pewresearch.org. Most Czechs don't believe in God, yeah. So see, it's these little areas. See, these are the areas that Europe, you really got to read into or just know to be able to read between the lines. That last review was, and if I had, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that was fake. Another scam with reviewers that was going on was there's a pork seller there's a person who barbecues a company who barbecues pork in the center of Prague, right? And they have horrible prices, but they get away with it because they sell the cooked pork to foreigners because they don't know. If they barbecue it they roast it outside and cut it off and sell it to them, right? And because usually by the time foreigners come here, they don't know what 300 crowns means to their currency, and they see a long line, so people just line up. A crowd follows a crowd, right? Well, the guy, he does, let me see if I can find him. He did a video about it where he searched the reviews for that pork seller, that why people would even go there. That pork seller had reviews, and all the reviews were 5 stars, right? Now, the awkward part was when he actually went to the Google Analytics in some kind of form, he puts it all in the video. His name's Honest Guide. He puts it all in the video where all the reviewers were Indian or something like that. And he looks at the country of where all these people or these last names come from. And in that country, those people don't even eat pork. Right? And then on top of that, he went in to see how many of those people actually travel to Czech Republic every year. And it was like nobody from that country even comes to Czech Republic. Let me see. Honest Guide. Honest Guide. Maybe this can find it. This guy, I think this is it. This guy, if you ever want to come to Czech Republic, if you ever want to come to Czech Republic, watch this guy's videos. He will give you, he's taught me some stuff. I'm sure it's probably copyrighted because he gets millions of views. Yeah, and this is the meat market. I know exactly where it is. But he went down there and found the reviews. So some people actually knew it was a scam, but many people don't. Because they're charging like $15 for two thinly sliced pieces of pork and a piece of bread, and they're charging the equivalent of $15, but they put it in Czech crowns so you don't know how much you're paying for it, right? So he looks up actually where he goes really into it, and he actually looks up the country where all these reviews had to originate from based off the last name. Then he looks at everybody from that country who would even travel to Czech Republic. But yeah, so this is the video. So go ahead, watch this in your off time if you ever care. But yeah, it's wild shit. And see, these scams are what Europe excels at, and Americans just usually are not ready for this shit at all. The scams here are just on next level shit. But I would say watch his video. If you want to know about Prague, anywhere he's been to, I've pretty much walked down those streets. I know exactly where he'll be at in most of his videos. So he does most of them either at Wenceslas Square or some part near Wenceslas Square, like Neloni Streeta, or he'll be at maybe outside of Palladium, which would be not Hlavní Město. I can't think of that name. That's specific. I never take the tram actually to that mall, but he's usually outside of Palladium. I know everywhere he's usually ever at because Prague is not massive. But if you ever want to know anything, watch his videos, and then either watch his videos or ask me and watch his videos or run it by his videos or me or something like that, and you'll get a pretty good understanding. But he goes through all the scams. He has another channel that's actually just completely in Czech because I think he's half Czech and half British, so he speaks fluent English and fluent Czech. So he has 2 channels. I think I think his Czech channel is called like Kluci na Praha, which is like boy in Prague. Kluci na Praha, I think which translates into boy in Prague. And it's completely in Czech. So if you ever want to know about Czech Republic, honest guide, watch his videos, and yeah, he's completely right. And he exposes scams, highway scams to pay tolls, all that shit, dude. Watch him. Easily. Like yeah. Watch him. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here because it's 11:09. I'm gonna get out of here because it's late. So y'all have a good night, man. I'll catch y'all later. Y'all have a good night and peace out.